Good evening. Welcome to the party. My hat's riding high. That's weird. Hi, everybody. Mo's here too. She just doesn't want to talk.
No, I'm
She's not a cardboard
contemplating over.
I should just have a cardboard cutout one day. Just come out and you're just right there refusing to move. Just like that.
Oh, I blinked. Shoot. I was contemplating your whole my hat's riding high thing. I don't understand it.
It can't be too high on the forehead. Then it's weird.
I mean, I know what you mean, but I've never heard anybody say, don't start with
Well,
me.
I do understand it.
Today!
I don't understand it. Well, I do understand it.
Shut up,
Stop
Matt.
explaining it. Today's going to be the day to give Mo grief, everybody. That's the day. It's the holiday we're celebrating today. Well, we are recording on a Thursday night, which is, I believe, the first time that's happened.
Ever. It is. You don't have to say I believe. There,
Is it? Yeah,
I am
I'm pretty sure,
100%.
yeah.
No.
I'm almost
Not
certain.
pretty sure. I'm 100. Matt, every Thursday night since the beginning of our friendship has been
Celebrate
spoken
recovery.
for.
Yeah, you're right.
So
You're
I
right.
know 100% this is the first Thursday night we've ever recorded on.
You are right. It is 100%.
Gosh, Oriole,
first Thursday.
can you please clip that? Just the you are right. Please.
100%.
I need that soundbite. And I need you to be able to clip it and then like do whatever you do to make it like a ringtone, please.
I think you're taking him far beyond his mod responsibility.
It's not a mod responsibility, it's a friendship thing.
New day. Yes, it is.
Wakey, wakey.
Time to get up.
Good morning, citizens.
Open and then rise and shine.
This is your wake-up call, people.
Come on, the coffee's on.
He
Clip it
owes me.
and do whatever it is
And
you
he
do
knows why I'm saying
to make it a
he owes me.
ringtone.
How dare he? We had an unspoken deal for years. For years.
How long have you known him?
Listen, I feel like this last week has been years, okay?
It has been a long week.
It has been.
Which is saying something because we recorded
Because we recorded Saturday.
and today is Thursday, which means it's only been 5 days.
5 days. It's been the longest 5 days ever.
Hubby's whispering because he forgets we're not actually chatting. Yeah, we can't hear you until later when the Discord's open, but that's a while from now.
No, so here's the thing. Hey, Hillary, I need you to like throw in some words every now and then we'll have a code word. And so when you say that code word, I'll say a random sentence that makes him think that we can hear what he said. Platypus.
She's
Got it.
way ahead of you, apparently.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you going to say when she says
I don't
that?
know. I'm saying, so you got to tell me like a sentence to say that's really going to throw him off. And he's really going to be like, did they just hear what we were talking about?
He's still listening.
Oh, never mind.
Jeez, Mo, you missed the cardinal rule of setting up a scheme. Make sure the person you're trying to trick isn't still in the room.
He's a man. He'll forget about it.
All right, let's get down. What's that?
Let's get down to business.
Oh, I got the clip. It's in the Discord.
See, you the
All right,
best.
Look at that.
You the best.
Look at that.
Even though you killed me.
She's bitter about it. She's ate up about it.
I'm not bitter. I just can't believe he did it.
All right. Here we go. Morning show. Monday. Segment number 1. And scene.
Rise and shine, nerds.
Welcome to episode 397 of the Back Row Morning Show, a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network and the official exclusive morning show for LTN Radio. I'm Radio Matt, the station manager and chief radio nerd. I'm a husband, a father of 3, a Green Lantern fan, and a Funko Pop collector.
And I'm Mo, shorter, louder, smarter, and all around better than absolutely no one. I'm a wife, mom, elementary librarian, and seeker of truth, except when it comes to reality TV.
Today on the show, the
Oh, she
it's been a week. week. The scientific case for forgiveness.
Also on the show, oops, did I do that?
But first, today is Monday, September 6th, 2021, and we got some holidays to celebrate.
That's right. It's Fight Procrastination Day.
I'll do it later.
That's okay. Also, National Coffee Ice Cream Day.
You know what? Of all the ways to enjoy coffee, that's probably my favorite.
In ice cream? Mm-hmm. It is pretty good. I will say that. Tastes nothing like coffee.
That's kind of why I like it.
But it is pretty good. Hey, and it's National Read a Book Day. I'll do it later.
There's too many book days. I feel like there's like 4 book days a year.
A book day.
Which I guess is enough to read 4 days a year. Done.
And hey, we didn't forget. It's Labor Day.
Today, Labor Day is Labor Day. Today, Labor Day is Labor Day. Today, Labor Day is Labor Day. Today, it's a Labor Day. Table Day, Table Day, Table Day. Come on, everybody, it's Labor Day. Come on, everybody, it's Today, Labor Day.
Labor Day. There
That's
you go.
the Homestar Runner Labor Day song.
You're welcome.
I sing it every Labor Day.
You're welcome. That's a lie. You don't sing it every Labor Day because I have never heard that song before.
I'm almost positive I sing at least part of it every Labor Day that we have a show. But I think that's the first time I've made it through the entire thing. So.
Well, typically because you would always shut us down if we tried to sing something in its entirety, something about copyright and
That's
blah
true.
blah blah and yada yada yada.
But now we're on a radio
Can't even-
station that pays for it. So.
I can't even sing what I want to sing. But also, I found out that that's because you think that I have a horrendous singing voice. So that's okay as well.
I mean, if by you mean society.
I mean you, Matthew. That's who I mean.
And society includes
Actually,
yourself.
Let me just tell you, I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow for my second graders last Tuesday and had them all sitting there going, and then had one tell me, you sound just like Taylor Swift.
Well, look, I'm going to, from the look
Shut
you
up,
just
don't
gave.
even say it.
From the look you just gave, that could have gone either way.
Oh, no. They were in awe.
I thought they were going to say, kill me now.
No, they weren't in awe.
And you sound like Taylor Swift. T Swift Oaks.
T Swift Oaks.
T Swift. That's what we're going to call her.
Swift Oaks.
M Swift. That's what we're going to call her.
Nah, that's all right.
M Swift.
Swift. No, that's okay.
How's your week been? I want you to share the story from a few days ago. Because it was great.
From last Wednesday?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. My shirt debacle? That one? Yeah. That one? Okay. So I go to school on Wednesday. And first of all, it's a half day, which I don't mind half days, but our district has started this whole thing where the first Wednesday of every month is a half day. And it's frequent enough to be a headache and a nuisance, but not frequent enough for me to remember it from a parental perspective. So Tuesday night rolls around and Mila's like, Mom, what am I doing tomorrow? How am I getting home? And I'm like, oh, crap. How are you getting home? And so I'm running around because teachers still have to work a full day. Right. It's a planning day and a training day and yada, 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 whatever. I didn't mean that. That sounded rude. But it's a half day for students. And so I'm, as a mom, trying to figure out how to get my child home and work that around my schedule and Chris's schedule and everything else because it's just not working. And at 6:30 in the morning, as I'm getting ready and my mind is racing around all of those things, I'm not necessarily focused on all the other things that maybe I should be focused on. So, I put on a t-shirt, just a solid colored t-shirt and a pair of jeans and some sandals and looked super cute. Was really quite pleased with my outfit and went to school. And I did in fact take a quick glance in the mirror as I left the house. But again, it's 6:30 in the morning, so it's not super bright. the lights in my bathroom aren't super bright. And then I spend a full day in the library, working, doing trainings. The debacle with Mila getting home fixed itself. It really ended up not being a big deal at all. But Wednesday evening, as I go home and I walk into the bathroom for the very first time of the school before I go to leave at 4:30 in the afternoon. The lights of the school bathroom are incredibly bright, super bright. And as I'm washing my hands, I then happen to catch a reflection, a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and notice that my solid colored t-shirt that I thought was really cute and quite flattering completely showed my bra. Every bit of it. The pattern on it, the outline of it.
I didn't realize it was a half day, so that makes it a little bit better.
It does make it a little bit better, yes. But yeah, I went all day, spoke with numerous people. Thankfully, I only had one class on Wednesday. It was a class of 4th graders. So, and you remember that boy from my 3rd grade class last year that was like, "Are you married?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in that 4th grade class. So that might not be a good thing.
I'm just thankful you don't work at a middle school. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those are formative years.
Yeah.
Could have had a real problem on your
I'm
hands
also
for the
really
rest of the year.
thankful that I don't work at a high school, specifically at the high school, because can you imagine all of the like conflicting thoughts the boys would have had? Like, not only their teacher, but of course a peer's mother, because I have 2 high schoolers myself. Like, what am I doing?
I would have been heck with them.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
they'd have gotten the worst of it, I feel like.
So I really think, I know for 100% that Cannon would have said something to me. He would have been like, "Mom, I can see your bra. You got a sweater? Go put it on." Whereas Topher would have been like, he would have given me like eyes and like been looking up at his phone, and eventually I would have known, and what are you looking at? "I can see your bra." That's what, like, that would have been Topher.
I feel like he just might not tell you. Just like, let's see how this plays out.
No.
For
Mila would have been the one who would have been like, let's see how this plays out.
How long till she notices?
I took her to school, and she didn't tell me. She didn't say anything. The whole drive to school, not a word.
Oh, gosh, that's
Not
funny.
a word. I should have asked her when I got home Wednesday, "Did you know that you could see through my shirt? Why didn't you tell me?" But I didn't think about it.
Yeah. So she posted that post on Facebook calling out all of her coworkers for nobody telling her.
Because I sat in multiple classrooms, sitting there talking to them. And not a single one of them, except for one, was like, "Yeah, I noticed, but..."
Thought it was the style.
And I'm just going to say, she says that she noticed. You know what I noticed? I noticed her staring when we were talking. And I was like, "Why did you keep looking at me? It's kind of weird." And then I go to the bathroom and I'm like, "Oh, that's why she was looking." It all
She's
makes
just like,
sense now.
she's got to be aware of it, right? I shouldn't say anything because I know she's aware of it. And if she's not aware of it, that's just going to embarrass her.
No.
Then I'm going to get embarrassed if she is aware of it, and I'm calling it out because apparently I'm too old-fashioned to understand today's sense of style. She made it into work. It's got to be okay. All right.
Not even my principal said anything to me. Nobody said anything.
What did your husband have to say about all
Good
this?
grief. He just laughed. He just laughed. He leaves before I do in the morning.
So he didn't get to, he wouldn't have had the chance to save you.
Nope. And he would have, because before we leave, I'm like, "Does this look okay?" And he'll tell me. Honestly, that's something that he learned early in our marriage. I think we've talked about this years ago, but women really do want to know.
Yeah, don't do the white lie thing after you're married.
No.
Before you're married, sure. They can't fault you for that. After you're married, they need to know, and you're the only one they can ask.
Yeah. And especially after we've had kids, because, you know, then things that used to look good and used to at least kind of be okay don't look okay anymore at all. But sometimes the mirror lies. You know, sometimes the lights aren't as bright in our house as they are elsewhere. And so if your eyes see something that our eyes don't, and we say, does this look okay? We want you to actually look at us. Okay, take it all in.
I said that they won't fault you. Oh, we'll fault you. Okay, but you'll also appreciate the honesty and not going out in public.
Yes.
That's true. You have to be diplomatic about it, gentlemen. You can't just say, you look like a whale in that thing. You have to be like, you know.
Listen.
From the back portion.
From the back, you look great.
Maybe there's some spots that you're not seeing that I can see and everybody else will be able to see.
Oh my gosh.
Don't follow my advice.
Don't
wave singles. Oh, gracious. My
dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills.
Holy cow. Well, if you're wondering who we're talking to, we record most of our morning shows on Twitch. Most of the morning show that you'll hear today was recorded on Twitch, all but the main topic. And we have a bunch of friends in the chat with us tonight.
All our friends.
So
even Rye Guy is here. I feel like he's never here.
Rye Guy's always busy when we record.
He is always busy.
So, being on Thursday.
What up, Rye Guy?
All right. I don't really have any stories from this past week other than it's been long and tedious and boring and sleep deprived. But there is a wedding going on at our church. Or, well, there was this weekend, which is...
Last weekend.
This past weekend is what I'm meaning.
Because we living in the future.
And so it's screwing up all my normal plans because I'm the only one that can run the sound system for it.
Word.
Okay, hold on. Speaking of bad words.
Uh-oh, what did I say?
There was a moment. Oh.
What did I say?
Oriel, help me out. What did she actually say? And then I'll be able to remember what we thought she was going to say. I don't know if Oriel was part of that conversation or not.
What did I say?
Dang it, I don't think.
When was it?
Rye Guy was. Rye Guy. So there was a moment where you were talking, you were explaining it Among Us this past Tuesday, something, and you did something and you said, and I know that's a, I don't remember exactly what it was, and now it's really making me mad.
When we were playing Among Us?
Yes, we were playing Among Us. You were explaining what you're doing, and you were saying that, you know, whatever
when
you're doing.
When I was yelling at Grayson, probably, because he totally threw me. Well, he didn't throw me under any bus. It wasn't me. I'm about to get angry over it again.
Well, that's what throwing the bus is. Throwing under the bus.
I know. That's why I'm saying he didn't throw me under the bus because it wasn't me. No, if you throw someone under the bus, it is them. And you like you're in it together. And then you're like, forget this. I'm out. It was all their idea. That's throwing them under the bus. That's what throwing them under the bus is.
Yeah, I know she almost said a bad word, but what was it? You don't remember either? I don't. Is that really the definition? I thought that just meant when you blame somebody else.
I really didn't almost say that. I don't say bad words.
No, and you didn't. But it sounded to all of us in the dead chat like you were about to say the S word. Yeah, I mean, it sounded like it. Like we all went, and then, okay. I'm really upset that I don't remember now. I'm going to have to find it on my stream later.
Shut.
But no, you didn't. Ship? It wasn't even that at all. It was like a whole completely different word. It's just the way that you said it was rhythmically like that's a It was something like, it sounded like you were going to say,
a-
I'm full of S or something like that. But I think it was like
I would never say I was full of it.
fully, I think you said like a fully stupid thing to say, but just the way that you said it, we all, you know what? This is bad content. We're just going to move on. If I don't have what the actual stuff was, why am I telling the story? We're going to take a break here. When we come back, Steve Urkel saves Christmas.
Stick around. I'm so confused.
So
Was
upset.
it or I don't know. Now I'm
so
like,
upset. No, I know the word that we thought she was going to say was the S word because I typed it out. I typed out as I thought she was going to say, that's a completely dumb as SH thing to do. And that's when you said, yeah, I heard it too. But I don't remember what it was. I'm so
okay,
upset.
but would it not be ASS then?
No, it wasn't that. Again, the
Dumb.
word I thought you were
Because
going
you
to
said,
say.
I know that's a completely dumb.
No, I don't remember the whole line. I just know that there was a cadence.
Farmer who had a dog and bingo was his name.
There was a
See,
cadence.
That's how you know I don't say bad words. You say there was a, and I go to bingo.
What gave you the instinct to hang with Oriole? He can keep talking, but I know you're typing, so I'm curious
Oh,
of
only-
why you trust him.
Only because for the last 2 rounds, and I know this is foolish of me, but for the last 2 rounds, we have hung together and he hasn't killed me. But I do also think that it's Rogar.
Because we got the big one as
yeah.
well, so that's a
Oh,
single.
yeah.
Right.
I was looking for a pair. That's
I know
I
math's
just
hard for
miscounted.
people, but I don't.
Well, unless
Last
Grayson
round we
was
had
innocent,
3 people killed
but
though.
That would mean, yeah. So that makes me think that Grayson was wrong, and you were the other suspect in that.
Well, who was the
since
one
Matt is
really
dead.
sussing Grayson?
Mo has
Although,
never said a bad word in
dollar
her life. Mo did not grow up listening to gangster rap.
So I will say this, my mom used to be so proud of me because I could censor myself while singing or rapping or whatever, and it would be a curse word, and I could just,
Would you just go
Sing,
silent, or would
sing.
you say replace it with something else?
no, I'd go silent. Total mute, like you had pressed the mute button. I wish I could think of a song to do it now, because I would. But sing, sing, sing. Sing, sing, sing. And my mom would always be like, how'd you do that?
Come in the club with the
Exactly.
That's what the radio version of WAP was like. I remember hearing the. It was
we not
no, it was
talk
at the.
about that song?
It was the
Worship
music
and
video
praise, yo.
music video awards. That's what it was. I heard it through that, and it's just like noises. They just entered
I was gonna
in
say-
sound effects over everything.
Yeah. Oriole, do you remember the story about my 5th graders last year trying to convince me that WAP was worship and praise? I was like, y'all.
I wasn't born yesterday, guys.
No, I told them, y'all need to worship. Oh, they said it was worship and pray. I said, y'all need to be worshiping and praying because I ain't dumb. I know what it means. Miss Mo! Yeah. I might look old, but I'm not.
Oh man, I had another story I wanted to tell, not on the radio, but I don't remember what that was either. So I'm batting over 1,000.
Mom's spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti. There's something about this. There's something about censoring yourself.
She looks calm and ready to drop bombs.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Forgetting
I was
when
listening
goes
to.
Go solo.
I was listening to Church Nerds, an older Church Nerds from a couple weeks ago, where they were talking about nostalgia with movies, where you watch a movie that you loved as a kid. Talking to you here.
You just hit me. I don't think you've ever hit me before. You're gonna have to go back and you're gonna have to
Shock.
clip that because it was total. What do you think you are?
Gosh.
Okay, what were
funny.
you saying? Sorry.
The nostalgia episode of Church Nerds. They were talking about how you watch movies when you were a kid,
Yes.
and then you watch them with your kids.
And you
And you realize, oh, there's so many
"What?"
terrible words in
Yeah.
it. And they came up with the reason why was because when we were kids, half the movies that we watched were recorded off the television. So they were already heavily censored. And so they had they recorded words that went over the cuss words. They didn't just bleep them out or cut the scene. And so that reminded me of a lot of those censored words. And one of my favorite ones was, because they were always ridiculous. They tried to match the mouth movements instead of just replacing it entirely. And one of my favorite was from Snakes on a Plane with Samuel L. Jackson. He said, "I'm tired of these monkey flipping snakes on this Monday to Friday plane."
What's a Monday to Friday plane?
It only works on a weekday.
I want a Monday to Friday plane.
Oreo referencing the fact that we once got mistaken for a father-daughter stream. That was fun.
Yeah. Hey, all of
Megara.
our people are here.
A lot of people are here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's off the rails pretty
be
heavily.
careful. Be careful. Oriole saying hi to Meg up in here. I already held it over his head, Meg, how he killed us.
Monday to Friday planes are the best planes.
For whatever
I
reason.
like monkey flipping snakes myself.
Oriole had a thing against Megans the other night, apparently.
How did I not put it together in my brain that y'all are both named Megan?
I don't know. I just need to know if she spells it the correct way.
Because neither of y'all go by Megan in our circles.
It's true. It's
Mo
true.
and Megara.
Yep.
That's weird.
Yep.
My mom used to censor the sad endings. Oh,
All right. That's Phoebe. That's a Friends reference right there. Oh.
no H.
Yay.
You're acceptable.
That's the correct way.
There was
And
that
no
was a-
extra A's.
There was a Simpsons joke about Finding Nemo. They're like where Milhouse started the movie by himself and didn't realize that every time him and Bart had watched it, they skipped the first chapter where the mom and all the babies get eaten. They're like, "Did you know that Finding Nemo has a chapter 1?" Like, what? No, it always starts at chapter 2. That's what that sounds like. Censoring the sad endings.
Well, on Friends, oh man, what is it? On Friends, it's not maybe it is Lassie. Anyway, no, anyway. Old Yeller.
Old
It's
Yeller.
Old Yeller.
Daedra made that mistake last week, too.
Yeah, Lassie and
So
Old
I don't
Yeller.
want the kids to watch Lassie. Why not? Because they kill her at the end. No, they don't. Why would they kill Lassie? Lassie saved the kid in the well.
Yeah. Old Yeller. And she's talking about how it's just this great wholesome movie and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And everybody else is like, yeah, until they kill her in the end. And she's, what? No, they don't. Yeah.
The Die Hard one. Is that Die Hard 3, I think you're talking about, with the sandwich board? It said, "I hate N-words" on it in the real movie because they were forcing him to try and get beaten up or something.
Okay.
And it got changed to, "I hate everybody." They're like, well, no one's really going to confront you over that.
I mean,
It's fine. You're just a jerk.
that's
Big
the world
whoop.
we live in today. You know what I got to teach my kids about this week? Hold on, I got to tell you.
Die Hard.
No. So we talked about Labor Day. Okay.
Can I sing the song again?
No.
Okay.
We talked about Labor Day and talked about the history of Labor Day, why it's a holiday, why we as Americans celebrate it, okay? And then there was a book that I was reading that talks about how workers protested for better working rights, okay? You know how many kids I had say, protesting is bad? And I'm like, oh, here we go. It's a teachable moment. Protesting is not bad. Protesting in and of itself is a good thing. It's when a protest becomes a riot. That's bad. If I decided that I didn't think pineapple should be a topping on pizza, I would have a lot of people come behind me and say, you know what? You're right. Pineapple shouldn't be a topping on pizza. I would also have a lot of people who disagreed with me because there are people out there in the world who are crazy. And think pineapple belongs on pizza. It's fine. My opinion is just as valid as their opinion. it is what it is. I can protest pineapple pizza, okay? But if I went to every Domino's and Pizza Hut and broke all their ovens because they refused to take pineapple off of their toppings list, that's a riot. And that's not okay. And they're like, "Ooh, would you do that, Miss Mo?"
If I had my way. Yes.
The teachable moment went downhill. Did y'all not hear anything I said?
Well, Mo says she wants to burn down Pizza Hut.
That's what they got. I'm pretty sure at least one of them went home and said, "My librarian's going to ruin all Pizza Huts and Domino's because they put pineapples on their pizza." Great.
Okay, let's move on to the second part of our show. Whoa, why aren't you recording? What's happening?
Well,
There we go. Welcome back to the Back Row Morning Show. I'm Radio Matt.
and I'm Mo.
And we've changed a few things up for this season, including what we record live on Twitch. Each week we record our shows the Friday or Saturday before. In this case, the Thursday before. Everything's messed up this week. Follow us on twitch.tv/LTN on air to be notified when we go live, because it might be anytime. And join our Discord at backrowdiscord.com for after the show discussion and even opportunities to be on the show yourself.
Thursday nights are fun.
Before we go any further, it's time for Mo's Fact of the Day.
That's right. In the late 1800s, at the height of the Industrial Revolution in the United States, the average American worked 12-hour days and 7-day weeks in order to eke out at a basic living. Despite restrictions in some states, children as young as 5 or 6 toiled in mills, factories, and mines across the country, earning a fraction of their adult counterparts' wages. And that is why we celebrate Labor Day.
I mean, I pay my nephew a fraction of what I would pay a professional lawnmower
I mean, that's
to
fair.
come toil in
That's
the hot
fair.
sun for me.
But he is also 16.
I'd do it if he was 10.
Would you do it if he was 5?
No, but that's mainly because he wouldn't be able to push the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, look, if a kid wants to work, let him work. Somebody's got to make that money. That's what I'm saying.
And as my student said this past week, there were a lot of dumb kids, huh? Yes, there were.
Did you see that, like, several McDonald's across the country are having to lower the age that they're willing to hire teenagers?
No.
In the certain states where you're allowed to work when you're like 14 and 15, if you have a parent's slip or whatever, they're having to do that because they can't get enough people to work.
It's because what I talked about last week.
It's crazy.
It's because we are raising a whole generation of kids who think, you know what, I can just go right into the workforce and get a managerial position. I can run the place.
For real.
That's not how it works.
But now it kind of is.
No.
If you want to go to McDonald's,
No.
they need managers right now. Just walk in. Oh, goodness gracious. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's your line.
Oh, now it's over to our weird news desk.
See, I let you have lines.
Shut up,
You
Matt.
don't ever read them.
Mind your business.
That's right. We got 3 news stories for you
The news.
that you might not have heard about. This one actually you probably have heard about. Maybe not at the time when I wrote it down on our show prep, but it has gotten around the internet. Anyway, Harvard University's new chief chaplain is an atheist.
Hold up. Hold up. How does this work? I thought... I'm so confused.
I mean, Harvard University was originally founded with a mission to educate clergymen in order to minister to New England's early Puritan colonists. And now their head chaplain, over the chaplain group, like there's multiple chaplains for different religions. Head chaplain's the atheist chaplain. I don't understand. I'm not as upset that the head chaplain is an atheist as I am that we have an atheist chaplain. What is that? What are you doing?
Alexa, what is the definition of chaplain?
Because I remember all the jokes, and not even really jokes, but just like calling, atheism is a religion when we were younger. And I'm like, well, they fought us on that, and now they have chaplains. So Is it a religion?
What is it? I fought the law, and the law won. But in this regard, the law did not win.
And,
what is a chaplain?
And he was, oddly enough, there are 40 chaplains, okay, over 40 chaplains for more than 20 different religious, spiritual, and ethical traditions at Harvard. And they unanimously voted him in. So he's got to be a nice guy. And I'm not saying he's not. Just being an atheist doesn't make you a bad guy.
Anything
Not at all.
About his character.
And I also am not insinuating he's not going to like be good at the job. He might be a very fair head chaplain. It's just a weird thing to read. You know? It's a weird thing to contemplate. All right? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
It does feel like an oxymoron, McGar.
It does feel like an oxymoron, hugely. So when we were, while Chris was in the Air Force and we were stationed somewhere other than here, because I feel like I say it all the time, that was the first time that we had gone to a base chapel. We chose the chapel as our church, our house of worship.
Oh, right.
And I had no idea that there were different chaplains for different religions.
Yeah.
But it made sense at that point. You know, when it's one house of worship hosting many different religions, it makes sense that there are different chaplains.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there was a Buddhist chaplain. Mm-hmm. And if you went to chapel on Sunday, there's a possibility that you would hear him bringing the message, which was very weird and very unsettling. It hit me, I guess, probably year 2, and I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about worshiping in a place where other religions worship. That kind of made me feel uneasy, unsettled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the sanctity of a church.
Right, it's not necessarily you're judging the other religions or anything. It's just like, churches seem to be set apart.
Yeah. It just kind of seemed unholy, if you will, at that point. And then I was like, oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't. And then we got to listen to the Buddhist chaplain one Sunday, and I was like, yeah, we done. We're going to have to find a church that speaks at least a little bit of English that we can attend on the economy, because I can't do this. But I had never realized that there were chaplains for different religions until that point. And again, it makes sense, especially with something like the military.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where there is just a huge community of people. Yeah. But good gravy.
Yeah,
I was like,
you just don't think about it. Yeah. One of those things you don't think about. Yeah, I remember at our base here when I was fun fact for all you Love Thy Nerd folks, Bubba and I, when we were in high school, were like a little band together, just me and him, writing original songs. And we wrote a song, a very pandering song, looking back on it. It didn't feel pandering at the time, but it was a very pandering song about the Iraq War, called I Watched Him Go. It's talking about like a parent watching their son go off to war. But they loved it. We somehow through our choir, we got invited to come do a show for the new base commander. Yeah, they're like really new. And so he got to hear that song, and he's like, we would love for you to come out and sing that for the next all call, yeah. Where every military member has to come in, and it was like 5 sessions to get everybody in. So we had to do this 5 times to go through this whole routine of them giving us this little placard of thanks for coming out and all this. And they had a real fun time. The commander had a real fun time coming out and introducing us and saying, now, before I tell you their names, one of them is named Bubba. Can you guess which one? And he would put his hand over me, and everyone, put his hand over actual Bubba. And they were always surprised. Commander got a real kick out of that. I didn't so much. But
That's one of those things that today I feel like you could really throw a big stink about.
yeah.
How dare you assume my name?
But anyway, so after we got done with all 5 of those sessions, they took us around a tour of like the whole base, which was really cool. Let us sit up in an F-150. No, that's a truck. One of the fighter pilot
15?
things. Sure.
16.
Yeah, F-15, F-16, one of those. Take our pictures like the pilots do. You know, we got to take those pictures and they printed it out for us, had them for us before we even left. It was really neat. But we went to all that's the roundabout way of getting to the point where they also showed us the chaplain area. And in the like sanctuary, I guess is what you would call it, they had a curtain on the back wall.
Yes.
And a crucifix on it. And then we're like, huh. Like you have a lot of, because, you know, the crucifix is usually just Catholics.
Catholic, yeah.
Because it actually has the body of Jesus, like on the cross. Like, don't you have what do you do for like other non-Catholics? And they're like, oh, we have this other curtain that goes in front of it. And you're like, oh, okay. And then we're like, what about all the other religions? Like, we just don't, we don't have anything up. Okay, so you only have one thing up for one religion? And then you cover it for everybody else? Like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Yep. We didn't argue with them, but it seemed like that seems weird.
Or they have the
Why
different
not just not have anything for anybody?
They'd have the different candelabras that they will wheel out for the different services.
Yeah.
Or I'm surprised you didn't walk down the hallway with all the pictures of all the different chaplains. The chaplain of
we might have. There was a lot to take in.
The chaplain of Lutheranism.
There was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Someone in chat asked what was the band name and what was the genre of music? Well, it was just plain old contemporary Christian, just guitar and 2 voices music. And then our band name was essentially the name of Matt and Bubba's morning show. It was Matthew and Bubba. That was our band name. We had a really dope logo, though, that was like a star that had like an M and an A and a B made out. It was really cool. I'll post it in the Discord so y'all can see at some point. But anyway, that's my story.
And
what are we doing?
And he's sticking to it.
Weird
I
news.
don't know. Weird news. Yeah, it was about a chaplain.
We're off the rails.
Yeah. This is what happens when we record on Thursdays.
Next up, lone resident of Nebraska town surprised when census shows the population doubled.
Okay.
That's almost like the start of a scary movie. A one-person town in Nebraska doubled in size according to the 2020 census, even though no new residents moved in.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun. The claim that Manawee's population had exploded to 2 puzzled the town's lone resident, Elsie Eiler, who is reportedly also the mayor, and runs a tavern where she issues her own liquor license.
All right, Elsie.
She said, well, then there's someone that's been hiding from me. And there's nowhere to live but my house.
Why you gotta talk like that? Well,
she's 87 and she's old.
There's someone that's been hiding from me.
If you find out who he is, let me know. She says. Apparently, the Census Bureau responded saying, what you're seeing here is the noise we add to the data, so you can't figure out who is living where. The spokesman said it protects the privacy of the respondent and the confidentiality of the data they provide. They said the practice doesn't alter census data on the larger scale, but is obvious in situations where the town's population can be counted on one hand.
What you're seeing here is proof that we lie.
They slide some of the data around sometimes to protect some of their information. That's what I'm getting.
So the government does the census, right?
The government does it, yeah.
So can we just get this? It's in writing, but can we get it printed up and sent to everybody who's anybody to say, look, the government just admitted to
lying. What are you going to believe?
Nothing.
What they say are your own lying eyes.
What did you just say?
What they say are your own lying eyes.
I did not hear eyes.
Was it the accent?
Possibly. And me talking over you, that added to it a little bit too. Or your own lying eyes.
A conflict of interest by issuing her own liquor license. Yeah, but I mean, she's also the chief of police, so what are you going to do?
And the mayor. She gets to do whatever she wants. She makes the laws, she breaks the rules.
She's the mayor. She's the only lawyer. Break your rolls. All right, I better get to the one story that we actually hinted at. There is a Steve Urkel animated musical.
Did I do that?
Coming to Cartoon Network's new Acme Night programming block.
Acme!
Warner Media Kids and Families building out a new family programming block called Acme Night with a Steve Urkel animated musical among the first projects greenlit. Did I Do That to the Holidays? A Steve Urkel story was announced alongside titles like Merry Little Batman and an untitled Looney Tunes cartoons movie. That's a mouthful to say. Acme Night, named after the fictional corporation from the Looney Tunes cartoons, will debut Sunday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Each week will start off with a family-friendly film, with the first being the DC superhero movie Shazam.
Shazam!
I don't quite think that's a family-friendly film. Have you seen the monsters in that thing? The 7 Deadly Sins are among the ugliest monsters I've ever seen in a movie. Good night. I can't get out of this accent. I'm stuck with it all night.
We're recording in Texas now, y'all.
Acme Night programming will also be available on HBO Max starting next year. Let's see. Let's skip to the part about this. In Did I Do That to the Holidays? A Steve Urkel story. The holiday season has arrived, and brilliant but accident-prone Steve Urkel has already ruined his local celebration by publicly humiliating a shopping mall Santa. In its attempt to make things right and score some nice points with the big guy in the North Pole, Steve creates an invention that only makes things worse. Using his big brain and even bigger heart, Steve must find the real Santa to see if together they can help the city rediscover the holiday spirit. Jaleel White serves as producer and will also reprise his iconic role by voicing the main character, which is dope, which means I'm going to watch it.
Only because it's Jaleel. So apparently on Twitch, you can't say loony.
You can't say loony?
Yeah, no.
Is loony a bad word?
Apparently.
What is Twitch's censoring system is weird.
Twitches get stitches.
Strange. It came up with bullying.
Bullying.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Matt.
What uninventive
Matt.
bully?
You loony.
What exactly? What
You know
uninventive bully is saying loony, expecting that to cut like a knife?
Dang right I am, homie. Let's go have a
Look at this loony fool.
good time.
This kid's straight up loony.
A loner.
Oh, you gonna cry?
Burn.
You gonna cry?
Burn.
That's what I thought. Bugs Bunny looking.
It's gonna be a thing now.
Elmer Fudd talking.
Right.
Suffering succotash eating. All right.
Wow.
Here we go, guys. We're gonna take another quick break.
When we come back, harboring unforgiveness is bad for your health.
Stick around.
Wow.
All right, that's our main topic for the week, and you can catch that on the main show next week. We're gonna jump to
It's so stinking cold up in this piece.
to our Tuesday show. Good night.
Up in this.
Once again, I thought
His
tonight was
house
gonna
of
be like
God.
a rough one, and
Well, it's because
so
I walked
far-
in a grumpy mood.
You sure did.
I walked in a grumpy mood. I wasn't really.
Very uncomfortable.
Well, let me just tell you. First of all, listen. There's a reason that in the Bible we are instructed for the older women to disciple the younger women. Okay? Because right now,
Which are you?
well, listen, there are older. I'm both. Technically, I am an older woman and a younger woman.
Agreed.
Technically. Because right now, if a younger woman were to ask me anything about parenting or motherhood, I would be like, don't do it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Don't have them. They're going to hurt you. You're going to get attached. You're going to catch feelings. And then they're going to break your heart. Like they don't even care. And they're going to leave and they're going to find somebody else. Don't do it. Yeah. But I would have an older woman who would be able to come alongside and be like, yeah, but listen.
But look, grandchildren.
Right?
So just worth it to get through the terrible part with the kids.
Through the water.
To get to the great part with the grandkids.
Grandchildren. Because right now, y'all, the water is deep. It's murky. I'm drowning.
Oh, gosh.
Hard.
Okay, here we go.
Hold on, but what I was saying was then I get a text message from you that's like, reminder, we're recording right now. And I'm like, dude, I have dealt with my kids. I have dealt with stupid people at work. I have dealt with every stinking red light between my house and this church. So yeah, I'm 2 minutes late. Take a chill pill, and I will get there when I get there.
You foresaw last week that you would forget coming to church Thursday night.
And so
you said remind me. So I've been reminding you every day. And then normally when you show up like 5 to 2 minutes before.
Exactly.
And so I'm thinking,
normally
oh no,
when
she forgot.
I show up 5 to 2 minutes before. I have never, ever just stood you up and been like, sorry, we ain't recording. Never stood you up.
I wasn't saying you were going to stand me up.
That was how your message read. Reminder, we're recording right now.
Well, I sent it at 6 and it did not have that inflection.
I'm pretty sure it was in all caps.
I knew you were going to come. It was not in all caps. The reminder was, but so was every other reminder.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But there was an exclamation mark.
As was there one with every other one.
Point.
It was written in the same vein as every other one I sent you.
Whatever. I just read it differently because I was not in a good mood.
I understand.
Okay?
I didn't
assume.
I didn't assume you were going to stand me up. I just did assume you forgot and you were going to have to be here late.
Whatever.
I thought I was being helpful, which is why you don't make friends with the opposite sex. Because you never know.
I'm so confused. Save it. I don't understand what.
We think differently, Mo.
What are you saying about me being a woman, Matt?
I'm saying if you were John.
What do you mean by you people?
I'm saying if you were John would be like, oh yeah, no problem, bro. I'm almost there, and been fine with it. You added every other problem of your day to my text message.
Did I say anything to you?
No. That was part of the problem.
I allowed myself to calm down, and now I'm joking about it.
I opened the door, and you didn't say anything.
Well,
you walked up the stairs and didn't say anything.
To be fair, at that point, my child was texting me an apology, and so I was reading that apology. You know, that kid that I invested all of myself in and gave all of my heart to just for them in a second to take that, Mom.
I dig plenty of holes, KY. It's all right. I always seem to get out of them.
FYI, for all of you, it's not Topher, so you don't have to give him a hard time.
Leave Toffee alone. He's only a problem occasionally.
He's my favorite until he tells his brother and his sister, suck it. And then I'm like, wait, you're not my favorite anymore.
Stop that. Is that a problem?
Do you even know what it said? What it means?
Like that.
You can't say that.
You want to know how I get out of holes with Mo is because we're the same person. And so she really does understand.
Yeah.
And I understand where she's coming from. Same way.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's a strange dynamic.
It is. It is very strange. But I do think that it is also what makes this work so well.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, we're going to argue on Discord. So if y'all want to jump up in that Discord chat with me,
Let's get to arguing.
I'm in there and I'm going to mute it. But y'all can jump in over at the Back Row Buds, backrowdiscord.com.
Back row.
But we're going to start and go through our holidays and everything while y'all are populating that there chat. Here we go.
Rise and shine, nerds.
Welcome to episode 398 of the Back Row Morning Show. I know, right? A part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network and the official exclusive morning show for LTN Radio. I'm Radio Matt, the station manager and chief radio nerd. I'm a husband, a father of three, a Green Lantern fan, and a Funko Pop collector.
And I'm Mo, shorter, louder, smarter, and all around better than absolutely no one. I'm a wife, mom, elementary librarian, and seeker of truth, except when it comes to reality TV.
Today on the show, the three kinds of forgiveness.
Also on the show, our Discord will debate about a topic about math.
You added an extra about.
Oh, they'll debate a topic about math.
But first, today is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, and we got some holidays to celebrate.
That's right. It is National Acorn Squash Day. It's National Neither Snow Nor Rain Day.
Now, that is to celebrate the resilience of our mail carriers. Except around here. Because here, whenever there's a whole lot of rain, they we ain't getting out there.
I mean, but here's the thing. Clovis needs to put in a drainage system, and then maybe they would.
What is that? A light fog? Nah, you're waiting until tomorrow to get your catalog.
I just feel like, everybody makes a big stink about the water shortage and this and that, which I get. It's a big deal. Mm-hmm, yeah. But if we put in a drainage system, that could actually help with a bit of the issues that water shortage does bring on. Not only that, but our town wouldn't flood when it rains 2 inches.
It really does flood really easily.
Yeah.
And yet never super high. It only gets to a certain level.
But just enough to where you're like, man, I can't trust my car out in that.
That's true. Yeah, I found out my the car that I bought a couple of years ago doesn't have its splash guard.
Oh, yes.
I found that out when my power steering went out while I was driving in the middle of a road because it splashed my serpentine belt, and the serpentine belt started hydroplaning on the things instead of actually turning.
I bet that was fun. That's very strange, though, considering, who you bought it from and where they lived prior. You would think that, they got a lot of rain there.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
Maybe it caught something when they were driving here. Who knows?
Maybe. That's a good possibility.
But either way, I'm going to have to get it fixed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, most mailmen and mail women, male persons.
It's also National Salami Day. Okay. I like salami.
I don't like it, but I don't have a problem with it existing. So
I love salami.
There are several things I don't want to exist. Like okra, I don't want that to exist.
Ew. You know what? We agree there.
Yes,
okra
thank
is
you.
like
You're
fried
like the first
snot.
person. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
You're like the first person who agrees with me.
But here's the thing, okay? Being from the South, and especially being from the Southeast, okra is like a staple.
Yeah.
And so to say that okra is nasty...
Sacrilege.
Yeah, exactly.
Heresy of the highest order.
Just go ahead and get my own casket.
KY Redhead's on our team too. The only one at her house who hates okra.
See, I'm telling you.
Phaedra loves the stuff.
Okay.
Fried, pickled, whatever you got. She's ready for it.
So I will say I have had okra, what is it? Dehydrated?
Huh?
Dehydrated okra.
You
okra,
said the same word 3 times.
I was processing in my head to make sure that it was correct.
Dehydrated. Dehydrated.
Hydrated, rehydrated. No.
Flash frozen. Space frozen.
So it's like okra chips. You know how they do like banana chips?
Okay.
Or apple chips?
Okay.
It's like
Wouldn't
okra.
those still be fried?
No.
Are banana chips not fried?
No. You put them in a dehydrator.
Oh, okay.
Not in a fryer.
Okay. I gotcha. I'm on the trolley.
Are you?
I'm on the stick here. I get it.
Taking up the caboose, I think, because you...
Why? Because I'm fat?
No, because if you were taking up the caboose and you were fat, then the whole thing would just go...
Taking off the whole caboose. When you sit around the caboose, you sit around the caboose. That's what Mo said. You
are the caboose.
I love it when Mo sets me up for that joke.
Oh my
Because
God.
she hates it.
I do hate it. I I absolutely hate it.
Oh, man.
Anyway, dehydrated okra is pretty good. That's all I was going to say. It's the only way that I will ever eat okra.
Nah.
All right, those are all the holidays. It had nothing to do with okra at all. Nothing.
Yeah, how did we? Yeah, I guess it was my fault.
Salami and acorn squash.
I think I did that.
And male people.
Well, once a week. Once a week. Okay, I almost said male men and women men instead of male women in my mind. I was going to say it backwards.
Male, but wouldn't
Male
that
men
be...
and women men.
But wouldn't that be male and male female?
Something like that. Hey, everybody on Discord. We once a week we like to open up our Discord, backrowdiscord.com, and for some of our back row buds to argue some of the internet's favorite arguments. This one might not be as prevalent as some of our other ones have been, but it's an interesting one to me, and one that when I thought about it, I kind of was surprised with my opinion on it, because it's the first time I've thought about it. The question here it is it really necessary today, like these years, to require students to learn anything beyond basic math?
Yes.
Like the four main equations. Mo didn't know I had unmuted everybody.
Yeah, I got it. All of a sudden, really loud yes in my ear. I was still trying
That's Jesus talking.
Right?
Yes.
I was still trying to process and figure out my answer, and I hear yes, and I'm like, Lord, you sound a lot more feminine than I thought.
All right. Was that KY that was speaking?
It was.
All right. Well, since you spoke up first, why don't you give me your opinion in full?
Okay, so
She did that
obviously
purposely.
I feel very passionately about that.
Obviously.
So as an educator, myself, we homeschool, full disclosure, and we do what's called classical education. And so we cover a lot of topics
like Bach,
that
Mozart,
people maybe wouldn't
Beethoven.
use in like a, everyday typical life as we would describe it. And the topic studying upper level math came up with the founder of the program we use, and she said it's kind of like when you're on a sports team, like a football team, for example, and you would go in and you would lift weights and you would do squats and do all sorts of things, and you wouldn't normally need to lift that type of weight in a football game. You wouldn't need to lift that type of weight in your normal life, but training your body to use itself that way helps you better able to perform in the areas you do need to use your body. And so learning subjects like math that are outside of the normal purview of your regular life usage, like balancing a checkbook, is a way to get your brain able to do many more things than it would have been able to if it hadn't been stretched.
Okay, so you're first of all, I'm upset that you completely ignored my jokes about what a classical education was.
Oh, I didn't hear them. Please tell me your
Because I mentioned Beethoven, Bach, Mozart.
Oh yeah, no, we totally cover that too. Yeah,
they really do. KY, do you do CC?
Thank you, Oreo.
We do. Yeah.
Okay. And if we were to ever homeschool again, we would go that route, because it really does tie in everything that people tend to think is worth nothing. And I can see
exactly, and we're hitting that in high school now. Yeah.
Okay. I can see KY's argument. However, I just want for it to be taken into account the face that both of us made as we were sitting here processing everything that she said, because clearly we don't use that part of our brain.
I know.
Well, I think the big difference is like thinking in terms of like the gap in as far as like growing up. I was public schooled, and so we didn't spend a lot of time on here's how to do your taxes, here's how to balance your checkbook. My mom taught me that stuff. And so like I would love that in any education. Like we need to know how to do all those daily life things, like how do you balance a budget in reality, not just
a lifestyle
So
stuff.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, lifestyle stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but I also don't see that as just specifically math. I see those as specific skills for a specific set of tasks, like balancing a budget, balancing a checkbook, those can be separate lessons in and of themselves, not necessarily tied to like having to learn algebra, calculus, trigonometry, all these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? Because that's still at its core basic math.
I hear what you're saying.
Well, but I did have to calculate the volume of the drawers in my dresser and my husband's dresser in order to find out that he actually had more storage space than me, so we had to switch dressers.
See.
Yeah, that seems super important.
It was really important. It was a huge difference.
I'm honestly very curious now because I have the dresser and Chris has the chest of drawers, and there's more drawers in my dresser than Chris's chest of drawers, but his drawers are slightly deeper. And so I wonder.
Shocking the difference. I would never
deeper?
have guessed that his was bigger capacity than mine was. So
interesting.
All right, Oriole, let's jump to you.
If you're still there.
So I'm here. I was just muted.
Okay.
So, as someone who loves math and who actually took calculus in high school and everything like that, because I'm a math nerd. But yeah, I think math outside of just the basic stuff is definitely helpful. It makes you think outside the box. It doesn't. It helps your critical thinking because, and also it helps. I've learned probability stuff. I mean, we did the whole lesson on probability with gaming and things like that when I was in high school, and you're really making me think back a while now to high school and everything I've used.
We're
the
old.
math from. Yeah, we are. But
Yep.
no, I think that it's a good idea to still learn all of this stuff, even though we have calculators essentially in our pockets, even though we were told in school, you won't have a calculator always with you.
That is true.
Don't use your calculators. You're not going to have a calculator when you're building a deck and you need to figure out the dimensions.
Yep. You really gonna go grab your calculator? Well, no, I'm gonna
Very
grab my
much-
phone.
very much
Hey.
will, yeah.
I mean, right there, Matt, you gave a perfect example for why you need to have math outside of the basic stuff is
I don't
figuring out
think
if you're trying to build a deck.
No, I
That's why
understand.
Matt has a father-in-law.
But no, well, that is true. That is true. But I'm saying there are apps, there are all kinds of free programs that figure all this stuff out for you, even like the dimensions of your drawer and all that kind of stuff. That stuff can be done relatively easy, relatively quickly, much easier than spending years
Well,
trying
what
to
if-
memorize all this stuff.
But what if we have an EM pulse and it knocks out all the electronics?
Well, at that point, you die.
I mean,
at that point,
well,
what's the
I
point
mean,
of living?
you
take your own life and you get on
the
with it.
robot can take over.
Exactly.
And then
Well, hold on.
How are you going to figure out
If nobody knows the math, then there ain't going to be no robots because nobody's going to be able to build one, right? I could save humanity by not teaching this next generation math.
I don't know where
Lark
I
is here,
sit
y'all
on
watch
this
out.
side of the argument now.
All right, Megara, what are your thoughts?
So I hate math.
Yes.
And I never took anything remotely. I stopped at trig. So I ain't none of you highfalutin calculus people. I would say that I think the benefit that everyone is overlooking for math is that it teaches critical
Critical thinking.
Oh, you
Look
cut
at the
out, Meg.
problems.
There you go.
Critical thinking.
You're looking at the problems you're trying to solve, how the best way to solve those problems are, and especially in something like math where there are multiple equations you can use to solve different things, it really does help you think outside the box and think about those things. And as a teacher, I can tell you that critical thinking is dearly needed. So I don't think you need calculus because I'm doing just fine.
All right.
For trigonometry, we can stop there.
And
I feel like that was a jab at me.
and Meg, what is your profession again?
I'm a teacher. I teach religion.
Hey, she's a former English teacher, so
I'm a former
she's
English
not
teacher. That's
What
true.
did I just walk in on?
Hi, Lark. Welcome to the party.
Hold on. There are rules. Lark, whose show is this? Who makes the rules?
Only Mo. It's entirely Mo.
You may speak.
So
What are
the
your
question
thoughts?
is, in today's time, is there any reason to actually require students to learn anything beyond basic math?
Yes.
Why?
So, do you want the long rant or the short rant?
How long is the long rant?
Short, like
Yeah.
short. We need the short one.
Okay, short. So, math classes teach you how to think, like Meg was saying. It's the does everyone need calculus? I gained a lot from taking calculus. But that doesn't mean everyone needs it. Getting a little bit beyond basic math forces you to examine concepts that are going to require you to use a lot of different parts of your brain. It helps you to figure out how to think and how to conquer complicated problems. Like, am I going to constantly use trig in my everyday life? No. But the fact that I learned it forced me to be using my brain in different ways, and I still use my brain in those ways today.
Just being a human in 2020 helped me to learn how to conquer big problems.
Here's what I'm hearing from everybody on the pro math side.
Okay.
It's you probably won't need to use it, but it'll help you think better other times. Like we're going to stretch your brain out in case one day you might have to use it to save the planet, but that probably won't ever happen. But still. Thank you for that follow.
Husband.
What?
That's my husband.
Your husband just followed?
Hi.
I sure hope it's your husband. Otherwise, it's going to be an awkward visit. Am I wrong? Am I mischaracterizing your thoughts here? Your overall points?
Well, that's pretty much all of education, though. I mean,
sure.
We are going to use sentence diagramming. We're going to use parts of speech, most of us in our everyday lives. But I know that studying those things with my kids and getting more into grammar with my kids helps me actually be able to interpret scripture better, because I know, well, oh, that's the direct object that goes with that verb. I misread that for years, now, and I understand. And, so it's surprising where things get applied that you wouldn't think they apply. But since, and this is, I think,
here we go.
God invented everything. And so everything connects.
Jesus junk answer to make us all feel
There's
guilty.
Math goes with literature. It goes with
Bring
science.
it on, KY. Bring it on.
Things.
Tell him how it is.
So,
Tell him.
I mean, also, why do I need to remember what the theme of some random book in high school English was, and why I had to interpret it the way that the author was saying it? I mean,
About learning
you know
how
that
the
I
number of
Actually, if
people
we
who
didn't
have
comprehend
read news articles and misinterpreted them, that's why.
yes.
Yeah.
Critical thinking.
We'll see all of that.
Rational
Okay.
thought.
You know how many people get a Facebook message from their friend and misinterpret it?
Pretty much every other subject
I think
but
I'm getting
math.
ganged up on.
Pretty much every other subject but math is, widely open to interpretation. And so therefore, I understand the need to still teach that kind of stuff. Math, on the other hand, seems to only be getting worse in how it's being
Where's
taught,
my math
given
class?
how I've been seeing how my children are being taught
Okay,
it.
can I weigh in? Can I weigh in?
This isn't your show.
Yes. It's Mo's show. Mo can weigh in.
Can I weigh in? We got flying pins. Okay, so here's the thing. I am not a math person. I despise math so very much. Full disclosure, when Chris and I got married, I couldn't subtract. And I'm not lying.
You couldn't subtract?
Big numbers? No, I couldn't subtract. And that lets you know, because I just said the word big numbers. I couldn't
Numbers
subtract.
with the two numbers that are squished?
Anything more than one number, I couldn't subtract it. So here's the thing. But words and reading and English, history,
Talking
that's my
good.
thing. Would you shut up and let me speak? So here's the thing.
Talk good.
I, for years, felt stupid and inferior because math just did not click for me. It did not make sense. And I think with a lot of teachers, where a lot of math teachers specifically kind of fall short, is to them, math just makes sense. And so they teach it because it just makes sense. And when you have a student who doesn't understand, it doesn't compute, it doesn't process the same way, you've got a teacher that's like, why aren't you understanding it? Why aren't you getting it? This is the way it is. A plus B equals C, just end of discussion. No, there is further explanation to get other-minded people to understand, you know what? Why these two numbers equal this number does make sense. It can process. It can compute. So Common Core math is how I do math. It makes perfect sense to me. And so hearing all the people like, why do we have to reinvent math? Why? 1 plus 1 equals 2. Exactly. But that's not the case. And you're losing so many students and so many people who could be math people because you're not allowing their brain to think past just the standard.
Okay, I can see that point, but the same thing applies for kids that cannot learn it that way, but can learn it the normal way. We're not teaching it both ways.
No,
we taught it one way for what? Not in my kids' class, where they're sure not.
I promise they are. I promise they are. Their homework, and which, by the way, they shouldn't be having homework. It's supposed to be whatever they don't finish at school, they have to do at home. But anything that's...
I agree.
There's no reason for homework at this point.
That's not the debate.
They do. Today. Okay, well, it can be. There's no reason for homework at this point. They do homework 8 hours at school. So... I
agree.
Anyway.
Well... It's math related. The other thing that hasn't really been brought up as far as math is like when you say math, who defines that? Like, do you say nobody needs algebra or nobody needs geometry? And then you start saying, well, who doesn't need upper math? And I know like socioeconomic and racial boundaries are really like a lot of people get pigeonholed early as far as like, well, you're never going to need that, so don't bother trying. Yeah. Whereas get exposed to those upper level,
you're cutting out, KY.
You know, STEM subjects and their brains open and they discover this new thing. And sorry. So anyway, I was just gonna say, you know, if everybody's exposed to a little bit, then they can grab on and go. But if you cut it off for certain people or cut it off in a certain place, then there's whole generations of, you know, future engineers or other people, you know, that would be lost.
Right. I agree. 100%. Wholeheartedly. I think the way that math is done in high school honestly should be done earlier on. You know, you are selected for classes depending on your, I can't even think of the word, your performance, so to speak. If you are a math person, you're going to take those higher level math classes. You're going to take calculus. And Meg said that trig was the highest that she took. And I mean, algebra 1 was the highest I took, and I barely passed that. So just saying, y'all. Again, I couldn't subtract.
AP calculus for the win.
You know, and Topher is a math person. My oldest is a math person. Chris is a math person. That is like probably the biggest encouragement that I can give. If you're not a math person, marry a math person. That's the best way that you're going to survive in life.
You heard it here, folks.
You married a math person.
No, I'm better at math than she is. I'm great at math. No, for real. I'm fantastic at math.
Her job requires her to be good at math.
Yeah.
She is a math person. Anyway, but I don't remember where I was going with that, so forget it. And we're done. I feel like the way that math in high school is done, depending on your performance, you go higher in certain math classes. It should be done a lot earlier, because then you're not going to have a whole group of kids who feel stupid and moronic because things just don't make sense to them.
So your husband in the chat says military does not use math. That's why they have people sound off, because they can't count.
He's right.
He's in the military, so he can
Where's
say
the
this.
lie? He's not in the military anymore.
Well, he twas.
He was.
Twas.
Was. Thank you.
I'm sorry that y'all don't know proper English, but...
There's a reason that word is not used anymore.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Discord argument.
Yep.
I'm going to disconnect the call now.
I'm just going to drop a command.
Poor Oriole. That is the least we've ever heard him. Bye, Oriole.
Oh, gracious. That was good. Y'all were all very...
Hey, do you see what Stream Elements is saying?
What is... Yeah. Lark made a command for your name, apparently.
Oh.
Anyway, y'all had pretty decent arguments, like well thought out, like we told you ahead of time, and we didn't. So
I feel like that's Hillary, though.
Good.
Hillary is always well thought out.
Yes, I believe Hillary would answer any question, no matter how ridiculous or serious, with that intensity and research backing it all up.
Oriole, that was payback for Tuesday. Just saying.
I felt ganged up on too, Oriole, many times. But even though I was mostly playing devil's advocate here, because nobody seemed to be on the no math side. So
You're about to really feel ganged up on. Can I tell you something right now that's really bothering me?
What?
You got a gray hair in your beard.
Ooh, I got plenty. I try and pluck them out, but
It's like right there, looking right at me.
it's all I can see. Just one giant gray hair.
It really is.
Well, stop looking at me. Jeez. You want me to point out your flaws? You
Point
ready?
them out.
Got a
Point 'em
list.
out.
With
Let's
the
go.
list out here.
Let's go.
Actually,
go.
this is a addiction mental health resources packet. Not for me. I was the leader of Celebrate Recovery. All right. Well, that got awkward. Let's take a break right here. When we come back, nope, that's the wrong call out.
When we come back, we
food.
got junk food.
Junk food, guys.
Stick around.
Dang it. I thought I got them all. Every week I think I get them all, and I don't.
It's right there.
I will put your finger off. Just get any closer to me. Is it in my mustache?
No, it's
Or
right,
right here.
It's right here.
In this part?
No, closer to your mouth. It's right here. Oh,
Did I shove it underneath other
yeah,
hairs?
you hit it.
All
Now
right,
I
good.
can't see it.
Leave me
Thanks.
alone.
Appreciate it.
Sheesh.
Glad you did that. Now
All
the
right.
signs of your aging aren't staring at me
I
anymore.
appreciate it. The fact that you're older than me.
I look younger than you. Could be your daughter. That's never going to get old.
Never gonna get old. So much fun all the time.
Like very deeper?
Very deep.
Yep.
Whoop. All right. Let's move on to second segment Tuesday. We're gonna be talking about junk of food. Everybody, you ready? Here we go.
Junk of food.
Junk of food.
Junk of food.
Welcome back to the Back Row Morning Show. I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Mo.
And we've changed some things up for this new season, including what we record live on Twitch. Each week we record our shows on usually the Friday or Saturday before with our friends. Follow us on twitch.tv/LTNOnAir to be notified when we go live, and join our Discord at backrowdiscord.com for after the show discussion and even opportunities to be on the show yourself, just like last segment where everybody was arguing about math.
Uh-huh.
You're
Plus,
lying.
our normal taste test will now only be available on our video platforms. Catch it live on Twitch or later in the week on YouTube at our YouTube at youtube.ltnonair.com or on our TikTok at the Back Row LTN.
Were you forced to take reading?
Words and writing and speaking, they're my thing.
By the way, I'm catching up on TikTok finally. I got voice pools, so I had fun. I got videos going out. People are having fun. It's a good time. We're catching up. So, at least one a day.
We could totally rap like that.
I thought we had this discussion earlier. That's what a censored rap song sounds like. And obviously you couldn't even make it through the first verse. So.
You might be old if when you laugh,
Your
you
esophagus
cough.
shuts up. Right.
Shuts up.
So it's your segment. Before we go any further, it's time for Mo's Fact of the Day.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say that earlier. Salami comes from the
I
Italian.
thought you were calling me salami. Yeah, I was waiting for you to say that earlier, salami. Thanks.
It's a good nickname for you. Salami.
Why? Because I'm a fatty meat.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. And your gray-haired beard makes you look peppered.
That was pretty good. I'm pretty sure you can legally have one human hair in a salami without.
Ew.
You can still sell it that way. Random fact
gosh.
time about salami. Let's go.
Hold on, I can't think about hair in food. Holding back a puke.
Here, I'll read your fact.
Salami. Let me see if you can read that or not.
Salami comes from the Italian word salare, meaning to make something salty.
Salare.
Salare. I said it right, didn't I?
Yeah, the E is more of a A sound, not
salare.
Salare.
Salare. Salare sound.
Not A.
Now it is time
To come clean and admit that we're major junk food nerds, and every week we like to showcase and talk about junk food that has recently been announced or even spotted in stores or on menus.
That's right, and today we're going to kick it off with Nestle Toll House PB&J cookies.
Hey, this sounds amazing.
Peanut butter cookie dough with strawberry flavored pieces that get all melty on it now.
Do they have the no bake option?
I don't know. I don't think that's Nestle. I don't think they do that.
Oh, you're
Nestle
right.
has like little poppable cookie dough bites, but I don't think they do the eat or bake like Pillsbury does.
Chills.
Pillsbury. Starburst Air gummies with a soft and squishy texture hit stores this fall. These will be available in the original and tropical mixes. Original, of course, lemon, orange, cherry, and strawberry. Tropical has sour kiwi strawberry, pineapple, passion fruit, and mango. You remember that Cinnadust, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Cinnadust that we focused on a couple months ago now? It's basically the cinnamon.
We didn't taste test it.
We didn't
right?
taste it, but we talked about it probably a couple weeks.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
they're doing the same thing with Twix. Twix Shakers seasoning blend for ice cream, cookies, milkshakes, stuff like that. But it's just like little cookie bits, caramel bits, I guess. I don't know. Caramel flavored.
Okay.
Caramel flavored sand. I have no idea how they're doing that. And a little chocolate powder, cocoa powder, I guess.
I mean,
Make it taste like a Twix.
Sure.
And speaking of Twix salted caramel hits stores this month. It's essentially a normal Twix with just salt.
With salt on top?
And with a little bit of salt in the caramel, I'm assuming.
Would it be in the caramel or would it be on like...
The package didn't appear to have salt on top of the Twix, so I'm pretty sure it's in the caramel.
Okay.
I've never shared... Twix is like my favorite candy bar.
Oh, me too. Me too.
But only when they're like fresh, like new, like soft, like the caramel squishy.
No.
Most of the time, they're dense and hard, and you really have to like break your teeth to eat them. So I literally check my Twix like they're fruit that I'm checking for ripeness.
Literally check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I squeeze Twixes.
You check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I squeeze the Twixes to see if there's any give. And if there's give, I buy the one that I squeezed.
So you're the reason that I find Twixes that are smushed.
Maybe. Because if they don't smush, they ain't good.
How rude. Okay, so I eat my Twix very oddly. Okay?
Oh, do you eat them in separate layers?
Yeah.
You are a nut bar.
Uh-huh.
Someone should call you a payday because you're a nut bar.
Actually, it's Almond Joy. Because I
That's
feel
an
like a
almond
nut.
bar. That's mostly a coconut bar.
Ooh.
But you are coconuts too. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I eat it in layers. It's delicious that way.
You are
the chocolate with the caramel first, always.
Wacky.
And then the nougat cookie.
It's not nougat.
The
it's just
cookie. That's why I said. That's why
you said nougat cookie.
And then the cookie chocolate part. It's like 2 candy bars in one. You get chocolate covered caramel and a chocolate covered cookie. It's delicious.
Chocolate covered cookie is not a candy bar in any sense of the word. It's a cookie at that point. You're just eating a cookie. And technically a candy bar, because I guess there is Milky Way caramel that's just chocolate and caramel. So that part could be considered a candy bar. Wiener Schnitzel is launching new. This is the weirdest thing so far that I've heard from Wiener Schnitzel. Barbecue brisket fries.
I'm all about it.
Fries.
Why is it weird?
It's just weird because that's not anything that Wiener Schnitzel's not. I worked at Wiener Schnitzel for like 5 years. Brisket has never been a part of the any version of this German-inspired menu that we got going on.
Have you been recently?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, because they do like the Texas dog now.
Yeah, and they do, but they've done those kind of wacky versions of dogs from all across the country or the world.
But so I think that's why they're having the barbecue brisket fries.
It's possible, there's no mention of any kind of barbecue brisket hot dog. It's just barbecue brisket fries topped with smoky shredded brisket, barbecue sauce, cheese sauce, and grilled onions. But normally when they do that kind of stuff, it's like we have like pastrami. Like they did pastrami, I think like the last year I was working for the first time ever. They're like, we got the pastrami dog and the pastrami burger and the pastrami fries.
Yeah, but that's also still German.
But this is, well, I guess technically, yeah. But still, this is just barbecue brisket fries out of nowhere. And that's kind of weird to me. I'm not saying it won't be good.
I think, well, I mean, because they have the Junk House dog, which has fries and chili on it. So
Which I'm going to say right now, they totally ripped off our hometown, because our hometown for years before that had what was known as the Haley Special. The guy who owns who owns it here, his name's Jim Haley, and it was just a hot dog bun with chili cheese fries on the hot dog bun.
Yep.
And then they're like,
we're going to take that.
Daughter. We're going to take that in and we're going to slip a hot dog in it and call it the Junkyard Dog and say it was our idea.
Yeah. Hey, babe, if you're still listening, I really kind of want Wiener Schnitzel now.
Del Taco is avoiding pumpkin spice this year and instead opting for seasonal caramel beverages for its menu.
I am all about it.
Caramel apple shake, caramel dulce de leche shake, and caramel iced coffee.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Real good.
Hey, did you know that dulce is a common name? Like a common Hispanic name for a girl?
Dulce?
I had no idea.
Never once.
No idea.
We live in New Mexico.
We have 3 dulces in our school.
Really? That's interesting.
And you always know a white person because they're always like, how do you say your name?
Hey, Dolce.
Dolce? Dolce? Dolce?
All right. Sonic has got a new grilled cheese burger. Melted American cheese on buttery Texas toast. Adds a grilled beef patty, mustard, ketchup, and diced onions. I don't understand why there's not bacon on it too, but anyway.
Hey, it sounds good to me.
One of the best burgers I've ever had in my life, and I've had it multiple times until they took it off the menu, was Carl's Jr. / Hardee's grilled cheese bacon burger. It was 2 beef patties to their normal beef patties, bacon, like 8 slices of cheese, 4 on top, 4 on bottom, on a grilled buttered sourdough bun. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it was good. It was heaven in a wrapper. Okay. It was delightful. I don't think Sonic's is going to be that good.
That would be my rapper name.
But I don't like Sonic, so.
Heaven.
Wendy's has got their new big bacon cheddar cheeseburger. Features a grilled beef patty topped with applewood smoked bacon, a new slightly sweet bacon sauce, crispy fried onions, American cheese, and a new creamy, tangy cheddar cheese spread served on a toasted cheddar bun that basically has baked on waterfall of cheddar on top of it. The new cheddar cheese spread for the burger is inspired by pimento cheese, which takes me right out of it. Yep.
That's another Southern thing that
pimento.
I should have bought my own casket for not liking pimento cheese. It's disgusting.
All right, back to Del Taco. Del Taco's coming out, or has come out now, with stuffed quesadilla tacos. Grilled chicken taco, crispy chicken taco, carne asada taco. But the shells are 2 soft tortillas with melted cheese and their queso sauce in between the shells. And so they basically make you a little small quesadilla, and then they use that for a taco.
Okay.
Get it?
Thank you.
Get it? Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm all about that life.
I appreciate you breaking things down for me. I was not following.
Long John Silver's fried lobster bites are back, and if my memory serves me correctly, it's been over a decade since they've had them.
I don't know that I really trust Long John Silver's lobster.
Hey, they've been around for so long. If they weren't trustworthy, they'd be shut down by now.
Okay. Have you ever had Captain D's?
No.
Oh,
because
Captain
there was
D's.
only one in Albuquerque, and it looked like a murder scene from the outside, so I've never gone in and had it.
That's fair. Most of Albuquerque does look like a murder scene from the outside.
Oh, it's sad because it's true. Goldfish has come out with a jalapeno popper flavor for a limited time.
Okay.
I mean, why not? Lean Cuisine has a new oven fried chicken with mashed potatoes bowl. Now tell me if this ingredient list sounds familiar. Fried chicken nuggets, mashed potatoes, corn, and brown gravy. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
It's the KFC Famous Bowl.
Exactly.
It's a Lean Cuisine version of the KFC Famous Bowl without the cheese.
Okay with it. I can put my own cheese on it.
Right. Right. I mean, it could be good.
Yeah.
Could be good.
Yeah.
Monster cereals come out with trick or treat packs this year, like little packs of their cereal that you can give out.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry. I like that idea. I like that idea. And lastly, Lay's Cheddar Bacon Mac and Cheese chips are back on sale. On shelves.
I'm back on sales.
I said shelves. Shelves.
Cheddar, bacon, mac and cheese. Have you had them?
I believe I tried them the last time around and I liked them.
I don't think I tried them.
But I have
they sound
never
delicious.
liked a special Lay's flavor more than that pizzeria flavor that you and I tried, one of the
that
earlier
they
taste
actually
tests.
nailed the pizza
It was
the pizza taste.
so dang good.
Oh, it was delicious.
So dang. They need to bring
We
that
thought
back.
for sure it was going to be like the Pringles pizza.
Right. All
like-
of those fake pizza
Yeah.
flavors, the
No, it was-
pizza combos, all the terrible. No, this was
delicious.
like get out of town.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take another quick break.
When we come back, there are 3 types of forgiveness. Surely one can work for your situation.
Stick around. Again, that is our main topic of the week, and we will get to that in the future. But as for our Twitch show, we're going to be moving on. So I apologize. There was a lot of chat going on, and I missed a lot of it. Alention, glad that you're here. Hope you still are. Everybody's hungry.
Listen,
Everyone wants Del Taco.
Right?
KY has extended family in Albuquerque.
Oh,
My wife and I lived there for a few years.
it's only a few hours from us. Like,
Yeah, about 3.5
come visit.
if you catch the wind.
I'm telling you, nerds giving Thanksgiving this year. I'm all about it.
I'm not sure that's going to happen this year now.
Listen,
Thanks, Delta variant.
we don't have to play by anybody's rules but our own. Okay? Okay.
We don't got to tell nobody.
That's right. We did it last year. Why are we thinking this year is going to be any different?
What did we do last year?
I don't know. We just didn't play by the rules last year.
We just did our own thing.
I went to Texas.
Well, that's what got
last
us here. All right.
I went to Texas last year for Thanksgiving. The land of the free.
They're struggling right now.
They the land of the free.
They're
Still.
They're having a hard go of it right now.
They still the land of the free. Every single one of them, happy and free.
Monroe's.
Oh no.
Is that in Albuquerque? I don't think so. Yeah, Texas is a bit of a hot mess.
I mean, Texas is always a hot mess.
All of
like,
that freedom's coming to bite them back in the butt right now.
9 months out of the year, Texas is a hot mess.
I mean, you're not wrong. I've never eaten at Monroe's. I did used to work at a restaurant called Paisanos in Albuquerque, though.
Paisanos.
Amazing Mexican food.
Do you know what paisan means?
That was made a joke. That's clearly an Italian restaurant.
And okay.
I said amazing Mexican food.
Oh, well, I
You're
didn't-
glazing over my joke.
Do you know what paisan means? Paisan.
It means buddy, friend, pal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good
I
job.
worked at a place called Paisanos. Of course, I'm going to
Well,
know what it means.
You worked at a place called Paisanos in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
The guy's parents started it. They were immigrants from Italy. It was a real thing. I saw the photos. They specialized in gluten-free pastas and desserts made on site, and pizza crusts and bread. All of it was great. Except when you're a waiter and you accidentally forget to write the gluten-free part on their order
Matt.
because you could kill them
Matt.
Luckily, they look a little different, and most of the people are regulars, and the guy
I'd
caught
be
it.
so upset with you. Wait, I don't know if she's gluten-free.
I almost got fired.
I'm picking up on, I think she's dairy-free. Because she said multiple times that she misses cheese. So I think she's dairy-free. But...
Dairy and gluten, aren't the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I don't know if she's gluten-free, but I'm picking up on I think she's dairy-free. You missed it. You were too busy talking.
But I mean, why did you get to gluten at all, is what I'm saying.
Because I said, you were the one saying gluten. You were the one talking about being gluten-free.
But why did you get to the point where you thought she was gluten-free?
Because I said... KY would be very upset with you. And then I said, oh, wait, I don't know if she's gluten-free. I'm picking up on the fact that she's dairy-free. That's why.
I feel like we both have the same amount of information, yet we're not understanding each other's questions.
Do you know that happens a lot?
So let's just move on.
That happens. Are we recording right now?
No, we're not. But we do need to start Wednesday. Here we go.
Rise and shine, nerds.
Welcome to episode 399 of the Back Row Morning Show, a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network and the exclusive official morning show for LTN Radio. I'm Radio Matt, the station manager and chief radio nerd. I'm a husband, a father of three, a Green Lantern fan, and a Funko Pop collector.
And I'm Mo, shorter, louder, smarter, and all around better than absolutely no one. I'm a wife, mom, elementary librarian, and seeker of truth, except when it comes to reality TV.
Today on the show, why forgiveness is important for you more than anyone else.
Also on the show, China cuts the video game cords.
What? But first, today is Wednesday, September 8th, 2021, and we got some holidays to celebrate.
That's right. Here we go. It's another one for you. It's International Literacy Day.
I'm telling you, there's so many reading holidays. We
but this
get
one
it.
Is international.
Books are good.
International.
Sheesh.
International. Yeah. It's also National Ampersand Day.
That's what you think of that, apparently. How did I drink soda and you burp? What the heck? Anyway, I love me a good ampersand.
Oh, yep. Ampersand. And it's Pardon Day.
Pardon Day. Now, this is a day... What's that?
Beg your?
Kinda. This is a day that's supposed to be celebrating forgiveness. Actually pardoning people in your life who have offended you. Are you all right?
KY just said best ventriloquist ever. And so just...
I drank the soda and you burped.
Just like the image of...
If I drank the soda and you spit it out on camera, that would have been great.
It's getting to that point of the day where everything is funny, even things that aren't funny.
Oh, did you hear that, KY? She said you weren't funny. I thought you were funny. I heard it. We all heard it. Everybody heard it.
Listen, she's a mom. She knows exactly what I mean, so shut your face.
All right. So, yeah. China has come out with a new law that limits children to 3 hours of online gaming a week.
Dang.
China is banning children from playing online games for more than 3 hours a week. The harshest restriction so far on the game industry as Chinese regulators continue cracking down on the technology sector. And even worse, there's specific times. Minors in China can only play games between 8 and 9 p.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So you don't even get to pick your 3 hours. If you're going to play,
sad.
You better play that specific 3 hours.
That's really sad.
Right? That's not fun. There's not a lot of time for mayhem then. You can also do it on public holidays, apparently, but that started September 1st, according to a notice from the National Press and Publication Administration. Limits gaming to 3 hours a week for most weeks of the year, down from a previous restriction set in 2019 that allowed minors to play games for an hour and a half per day and 3 hours on public holidays. So they were already pretty strict. Now they're roll strict.
Roll
Strict.
roll.
The new regulation affects some of Chinese largest technology companies, including gaming giant Tencent, whose Honor of Kings online multiplayer game is hugely popular globally, as well as gaming company NetEase. Stocks dropped for both of those companies upon the news.
Shut them down, open up shop.
I can't even.
I know, I'm sorry.
The gaming restrictions are part of that ongoing crackdown. We already said this. Why do articles do this? Why do articles repeat the same? Anyway,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the company issued the curb hours after a state-affiliated newspaper criticized the gaming industry and called games spiritual opium. I mean, some cases it can be. Gaming can be an addiction. Can be
Guess what?
overdone, but so can anything. Is that what you about to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They putting restrictions on going to the gym, working out.
that very much can. Even going to work.
Ooh,
Workaholics.
I'm gonna need that restriction.
Y'all.
I'm gonna need it.
So, yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
So I think before 2020, I would have been like, heck yeah, China's doing something right. Yeah, way to go. After 2020,
It's the only way they're staying sane and also out of my hair for a few hours a day.
so I think, Topher is not my social child. And and I get all sappy and like emotional when I think about Love Thy Nerd and the community that it's become for him, because through gaming, he has found his people. And if there was a restriction to where he could only play so many hours a day or only be on so many hours a day and only certain days, I don't think that he would be in the mental place that he is today if he were living under that restriction.
Yeah. I mean, especially this last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he probably wouldn't be doing the one chip challenge with me pretty soon. So, because he wouldn't be a part of the group. So, have you talked to him about that yet?
You talked to him about it on Tuesday.
We kind of bring it up, but he didn't say anything. So I was expecting you two to talk about it.
No, we don't. We don't really communicate. Tuesday night is our night to talk, and we talk
in different rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Through
yeah,
Discord.
y'all frustrated me Tuesday night.
When has that not happened?
Listen, I've been doing really good the past Tuesday nights because I've only been talking in chat, and then I'm the one that came across two of the bodies, so I had to actually verbally chat, and I was like, good grief. And then it's all, can I please just talk? Can I please just say what I need to say? And y'all weren't letting me. Why is it always me? Everybody else gets the opportunity to talk and voice and say what they want to say.
There are 4 people that get to talk. Everybody else has to throw elbows to get their way in. But these 4 people tend to shut up for because they know they're going to get quality information from them.
So apparently, I don't give quality information.
Neither do I. I'm not one of the 4 either.
Okay. Lark says, which 4? Thray and Toffee.
Thray and Toffee. Rye Guy, because his information usually implicates himself. And for some reason, Rogar. But that's because...
That's what I was just thinking. But do you know, it's also become Gabiggin lately.
No, I feel like anytime Gabiggin talks, I don't believe him.
No. No.
Anyway, we can't devolve into another Among Us talk.
We totally can. We totally can. Meg says the Rye Guy thing is so true. What she doesn't know, she came in kind of later to our Among Us nights. Mm-hmm. past the Rye Guy learns to lie.
Oh, yeah.
And early on, when Rye Guy started playing, it was
terrible.
It was brutal to try and listen to him lie and say that it wasn't him. And
so he stopped doing it for a while. He just like, okay, I can't. Yeah. Yep. He caught me.
Yep. It was me.
Never wanted to try and fight it.
Uh-huh.
Just because he was so bad at it. But he got good. He got better most of the time. He's usually just caught dead to rights, so there's nothing you can do about it.
Listen, but now it's got to the point I feel like poor Rye Guy and I were in the same shoes. And listen, I don't even care if we go into an Among Us, whatever. Maybe y'all should join us on Tuesday nights and be a part of our Among Us group, okay?
Do that every week.
Anyway, so here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I can't right now. I'm just Geordie LaForge is sitting next to me in the studio.
Reading rain. Hold on, guys. So, LeVar Burton spent years telling us that reading was good for us. Then he showed up on Star Trek blind.
He had glasses. His visor was glasses.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Anyway, so poor Rye Guy, I think he and I are like in the same boat because we know just enough about the game to play and have fun, but we don't know enough to like be one of y'all.
Be one of them top tier players.
Exactly.
You know,
but
thank you.
I will say this. When we speak, y'all always think we're lying.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, even right now.
Moving on.
Hey, that did it. All right. Let's take a break right here. When we come back, Bo and I go head to head in a game for the title.
Stick around.
Yeah. It's always this specific segment, the Wednesday one segment where I tick you off.
Always. Always. You may just have to find a new co-host for Wednesday. Okay? Sound good?
Oh,
Any
gracious.
takers? Anybody want to take my place for Wednesday? I'll give it to you. You can have it.
Here, I'm gonna respond to somebody. Somebody's mom is bugging me about stuff.
Whose mom is bugging you? Is it my mom?
No.
What's my mom doing?
You and your mom and I talk all the time.
I know.
Because y'all don't talk, and so
that sweet
she's
man.
Gotta learn. Why do you treat that sweet man so badly? Don't tell him to shut up. He's such a nice man.
She thinks differently about you now.
Oh, that's messed up.
Whatever. No, they're actually quite mad at you because you didn't come over and see them when they were here visiting.
I wasn't able to, and I don't remember what happened. Oh, I do remember. Y'all weren't there on Saturday when you told us to come over. Y'all went out somewhere far away doing fun things.
We went to Conscious, and first
Exactly.
of all, I told you that was the only day we weren't going to be there.
No. I said the only day we can come over is Saturday, and you said okay, and I said I'll let you know when we were going to come over, and then I saw y'all weren't there. There was like 5 days before that, so y'all must not have planned, or you must not have remembered when we talked.
If we didn't talk so much, I would go back through our messages, but that would take too stinking much time to try and find.
Anyway, I wasn't ever going to bring that up, but since you called me out on it, I had to bring it up.
I'm gonna let you down.
You got your fact?
Never gonna run.
Welcome back.
Desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell.
Welcome back to That Girl Morning Show. I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Mo.
And we've changed some things up for this new season, including what we record live on Twitch. Each week we record our shows, usually the Friday or Saturday before, with our friends over at twitch.tv/LTN on air to be notified. Follow us while you're there so you'll know when we go live. And you can join our Discord as well, backrowdiscord.com, for after the show discussion and even opportunities to be on the show yourself. But before we go any further, it's time for Mo's Fact of the Day.
The creation of the ampersand dates back to 63 BC. This means the ampersand is over 2,000 years old. It was created as a combination of two letters, E and T, or et. In Latin, the word et means and.
I knew all of that, but I'd forgotten it all. And now I know it again. And I have you to thank for that.
You're welcome.
I knew all that because I actually did like a whole report on the history of the ampersand in, I think, college, maybe high school. But it was long.
Yeah?
Like I put like 10 pages out of my butt for an ampersand report.
An ampersand report?
And you basically just did the whole summary.
You're welcome. In less than a minute.
All right.
Now it's time for me to...
There's a cat, everybody.
There's a cat in the studio.
Meow, it's time.
Wow. Listen, if our listeners have stuck with us throughout the week, I don't know.
You deserve a prize.
Uh-huh. Now it's time for me to beat Matt in a game, hopefully.
Not going to happen. That's right, everybody. It's time once again for me to challenge Mo. Last week, I managed to beat her in a game of rapid fire. She just lost it middle of the game. Could not get back on track whatsoever.
I did.
So that means this week I get to actually attempt to challenge her for the Undisputed Back Row Championship title belt and finally take it back. It has been so long since I have had that blue and silver belt on my shoulder, and I need it again. So we're going to be playing rapid fire once again. Are you having a baby? All right. Would you like to go first or second?
I'm going to go second.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is why y'all need to
Threw me off.
This is why y'all need to be Twitch people, because you would have just saw Matt do his hype dance.
Hype. Well, no, you wouldn't, because it cuts off pretty much everything but
You
my
can
head.
still see your shoulders.
You just see that I'm shaking.
Yeah, that was Matt's hype dance. Though. All right, are we ready? There's 2 rounds, right? Do I have to choose? I don't have to choose team names. All right, are we ready?
I think so.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Play game. Oh,
Ad
it's
for
a
Facebook. Nobody needs an ad for Facebook. Everybody knows you exist.
Got it. All right. Name 3 basketball teams.
The Suns, the Magic, and the Bulls.
Name 3 websites.
Google, Facebook, Twitter.
Name 3 genres of music.
Pop, rock, rap.
Name 3 movies.
Back to the Future, Back to the Future Part 2, Back to the Future Part 3.
Name 3 words that start with A.
Apple, ampersand, alligator.
Name 3 words that start with C.
Cow, call, coop.
Name 3 words that end in ing.
Loving, laughing, living.
Name 3 shows on Netflix.
Stranger Things, Better Call Saul, I think. No, not that one. Shoot. I don't have Netflix. Friends. No, Friends
Nope.
isn't on there anymore. Dang it. Wow, skip. Okay, well, too late.
All right.
Sheesh.
You got 2.
I got 7.
I mean, you
Thank you.
You got 2.
I don't have Netflix. I have everything else. I have Hulu and Disney and Paramount and Discovery, but I don't have Netflix.
Okay.
I guess I don't have HBO Max either. Every show that was popping into my head was a Hulu show, like Handmaid's Tale, or HBO Max, Game of Thrones, all these. So I don't know. Here we go. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. You got to beat 7. Last week you got to 4.
Shut up.
Name 3 things found on a farm.
A cow, a goat, a grass.
Name 3 types of energy.
Energy, solar, electric, and fuel, gas.
Okay. Name 3 things that have windows.
Cars, houses, airplanes.
Name 3 Google products.
Google Chrome, Google
Sure.
Home,
Sure.
Google Maps.
All right. Name 3 golf clubs.
Putter, pass.
Okay. Name 3 things that end in board.
Surfboard, boogie board, skateboard.
Name 3 fears.
Heights, talking, and death.
Name 3 burger toppings.
Tomatoes, ketchup, lettuce.
Name 3 colors of the flag of the USA.
Red, white, and blue.
Name 3 social media outlets.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Name 3 wedding traditions. It's over. You got 9.
No, that was 10.
No, you didn't get 10. You got 9.
How did I get 9?
Because that's how many you answered. You skipped one, remember?
I was counting.
Well, you counted wrong because that counts.
Either way, I won. I would.
Why do you do this to me? You always lose on the first game, and then you come back super strong on the second game for no reason other than to tick me off. So, since I lost, that means next week on our 400th episode, we're going to do a first. Mo is going to create a game for me and one of you on Twitch in our Discord to go head to head in. I have no idea what the game will be, what the topping will be on. Topic?
It won't be pineapple.
As for who is going to go up against me, the field is wide open because nobody's gone up against me before, so nobody has to wait in line for that. As for who it is, we'll have to decide that on Discord. But we don't have a sticker or anything.
I'm so excited.
I might have to make a sticker for beating Matt. But yeah, so I'm still beltless Joe from Hannibal Mo. All right. You feel proud of yourself?
Yeah, but I did not like that comment. I'll tell you that right now.
What comment?
Beltless Joe from Hannibal Mo. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
All right, let's take another quick break. Hold on, wait a minute. Megara just subscribed. Hey, we finally... oh, no, wait. An anonymous gifter gifted Megara a subscription. So whoever that anonymous gifter is, thank you so much. And Megara, enjoy your extra emote, I think is what you get.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Let's take another quick break.
When we come back, we talk about the who of forgiveness.
Stick around. The who. We talk about the who. All right. So we will skip that. Again, the forgiveness thing, that is our main topic, and we won't be recording that on Twitch, but you can catch that in our morning shows this coming week. We're going to record our final segment for Wednesday, which includes answering an Ask Us Anything question from Twitch, and I believe Oriel has one in his back pocket he's been waiting for. So don't nobody else ask a question until we see what Oriel's is.
Now's the time to pull out your wallet,
He called
Oriel.
it. He wrote it down. He called it. Are y'all still talking about math in the chat? What the heck?
We have a taste test also.
Are boneless wings considered wings? Okay.
No, we didn't, right, guy? We didn't.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the thing. I don't remember what it was. But it really sounded like she was going to say the S word. And then she didn't.
You missed it. You missed me just beat Matt. Are we ready for the taste test?
No, we're going to do this segment. We do the taste test the very last.
Oh, I forgot we were doing this.
We were just talking about it.
No.
That's what the question was. Boneless wings.
Shut up. Shut up right now.
Shut up right
now. I don't know where it's at.
It's part 4.
All I have is part 3. There we go. All I have is part 3.
You are very much a teenager many times. I don't have it. You didn't give it to... Oh, here it is.
It's your fault. This is your fault, Matt.
If it wouldn't be a pain to fix the camera back where it was, I'd show you just the pile of papers she makes over here instead of keeping them nice and orderly. All over the floor. All over the table.
I always clean up after myself. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Back Row Boarding Show as things are winding down for the day.
But first, we're going to answer a question from Twitch.
Yeah, Mr. Oriel is bringing us our question. Mr. Oriel, Mr. Brian, Oriel Jedi in our chat, brought us a question that I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of answering before. Are boneless wings considered wings?
No.
Yeah, why not?
They nuggets. Nope, that's all they are. That is all they are. They're not wings.
But wings aren't even wings. They're drumsticks. They're little drumsticks. That's legs.
No.
Aren't they?
No.
Well, there are two pieces of chicken that they put in there, aren't they? Are they?
Yeah, and half of them are for real wings.
Okay, but the other half aren't. Like, they're not all wings.
Well, a lot of times they'll say wings and drums. They
Never.
won't just say...
Never, ever. Have you ever gone to Buffalo Wild Wings and Drums? No, you haven't. Have you ever gone to Wings and Drum Stop? No. Have you ever eaten at Wings and Drum Street? No, you have not.
They have a thigh street now.
They do have a thigh street.
So,
which sounds like a place to go to find a lady of the evening. Honestly. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
What's your flavor?
Look, I don't mind. I don't mind boneless wings being called wings as long as the boneless is a part of it, because it's a qualifier on the style of chicken. But in actuality, yeah, they're just I mean, they're just nuggets, really. I get it.
So,
but they're good.
I am not a wing fan.
Me neither. I like boneless wings.
I like boneless wings too.
Because they're not.
Because they're a chicken nugget.
Because they're big chicken nuggets.
Exactly.
That you don't have to dip in anything because they're already covered in the dip.
I think when I dip, you dip, we dip. I think you said before we started recording that sometimes I'm just a big teenager, and yeah, I like chicken nuggets, okay? In all forms and fashion. Mind your business. Leave me alone.
I just, and Oriel highlighted this in our Twitch chat, I just don't like eating meat off of a bone. Yeah. I'm the same way with like ribs, whatever. I like rib meat just fine.
Yeah, I like boneless ribs real well.
But eating it off the bone just feels a little too caveman-like to me. A little too close to remembering this used to be alive. Like, I don't want to be reminded that it used to be living. Like, this used to walk on its own because it had this bone in it. You know, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's true.
So, where's your favorite place to get boneless wings, Mo?
You know, I don't really know. I'm not a Wingstop fan.
Me neither. I do like their garlic parmesan because it's a dry garlic parmesan as opposed to every other place and it's like a sauce. And that's kind of fun for me. But it gives you ridiculously bad breath for 3 solid days, no matter what you do. You can't get away from it. So it's like a once every 3 year.
Did you do a science experiment on that?
No, it's just like every time I get it. Every time I get it.
So I'm thinking probably Pizza Hut as
well, for locally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty good locally.
Yeah. I mean, we have what? Wingstop. We have, what's that one that you just said? B-dubs.
B-dubs. Yeah. I've actually never had Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm not a huge fan of Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah. My whole thought is I can get just as good boneless wings at Pizza Hut for
cheaper,
a fraction of the cost. Yeah.
There was a place in Albuquerque that Daedra and I liked. There was an
old lady who,
but I don't remember what it was called now.
Lived in a shoe, had so many kids she didn't know what to do.
For those of you who are unaware, Mo's been upset about her children all week long. And so she just keeps falling into these weird rhymes about children. Depressed sounding rhymes. She didn't know what to do.
Can we end the show? Can we end it?
End it with our verse for the day.
Our verse for the day is Matthew 5:6. Happy are the merciful.
That's going to do it for our show today. Remember that we air first exclusively on LTN Radio, LTNOnAir.com, every Monday through Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern with an encore at 10 a.m. But if you miss a day or just can't catch the show live, find the Back Row Morning Show podcast version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Subscribe, rate 5 stars, and leave a review. Do it and we'll love you forever.
And also the podcast feed will offer a weekly highlight episode focusing on just our main topics for the week. And for those of you who can't commit to the full 3 hours a week, make sure you're following us on all the socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Just search for @TheBackRowLTN and connect with us.
Tune in tomorrow morning for the Back Row Re-Rank. Yeah, Back Row Re-Rank. Where we will bring you a classic episode of the Back Row Morning Show. You know, when I'm recording the Back Row Rewinds, like entrance, I do that every single time, at least once.
Yeah,
every single
fair.
time. Back row re-ranked. And we will be back with our 400th episode.
What?
Next week. And we hope you will too. Mo, final thought.
400. I feel so old.
Once again, I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Mo.
And remember, if nobody else tells you, we promise it's true. Jesus loves you, nerd. All right, Twitch, one final segment to go. It is our taste test.
A taste test. Okay, ready?
If I didn't have club this week, I'd be headed to Wingstop tomorrow for lunch. Hey. What are we eating?
What's club?
I don't know. He's got a club. He's a member of a club. Leave him alone. Just because you can't ever get in any clubs.
I'm just saying.
I'm a member of the No Mo's Club. No, that was perfect. Ooh. You got the Churro Bugles?
It's our taste test.
I'm not sure if I've ever been more excited than right now.
I love
for something
churros.
you brought.
And
I don't really care for Bugles all that much. But I feel like they would lend themselves to a churro flavor.
I kind of agree.
I mean,
yeah.
Anyway, the joke
Who
I was...
Lark? Are you talking about being old?
Lark is like 18.
She's 22.
Oh, she's like 12.
22. Here's something fun for you, Lark.
Like
By the time I was 22, I had 2 kids and had been married for 4 years.
Not me. Wait. I had been married for 3 years. No, 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
But I didn't have
right?
any kids.
That's right, math, right?
Yeah. Correct. They smell good, but they also kind of smell like Bugles, and that makes me sad.
Oh, I don't smell Bugles at all.
I smell a little bit of Bugle.
Churro.
So they're nice. They're normal Bugles, but if you can see, got a little brown hue to them because they're dusted.
They dusted, y'all. Aw. I can't even fit my pinky in it.
There are plenty that are, well, you know what?
No,
I'll take that back.
they're
all
not.
kind of closed.
Exactly.
That's
And on the packaging, it says America's #1 finger hat. That is false advertisement.
Sounds gross. That sounds inappropriate. This is a family-friendly
look,
show.
I have a witch's finger. Look.
That's the thing. That's the gimmick.
No, it's not. They used to be way more.
No, but that's what it is. You
Triangular
put them
prism.
on and you have witch fingers. That's what it is.
No.
They even made a joke in Scrubs about it.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Nope. 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 No. No, Bugles. No.
That's really depressing.
This was not the way to do this. No. There was still salt in it.
Yeah.
It still tasted like a normal Bugle with
But
just
worse.
a tiny bit of cinnamon that made it gross.
Yeah, it's not. Listen, Oriole, I don't hate Bugles. I don't hate Bugles. But the fact that they didn't change the Bugle flavor and just added like Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavoring to it, it is a bad combination. A bad combination.
Awful. I'm so disappointed. I was in such an elated state of mind when Mo brought these out, and I am so mad.
Here.
They're garbage. Oh, I hate these.
Oh.
Wait, caramel brownie? What?
So,
Hold up.
Yeah, so we bought these, and then I stole one from a teacher friend and ate it, forgetting that it was going to be a taste test. So now we can't do an actual taste test.
Well, let's hope. Was it good?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe
I
I
liked
like
it.
this one. Ooh, what? What? It's got weird white stuff on it, but hey,
Well, the cowtails always have weird white stuff.
I've eaten worse. Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
You're welcome. These
Wow.
are in the trash.
That's garbage. This is like
Delicious.
A fancy Tootsie Roll.
It is. You're right.
This is dang good. I hate normal cowtails. Hate them.
Oh, I like cowtails.
Hate them. This is good.
Mm-hmm.
You've redeemed my night.
You're
I'm
welcome.
in a good place again.
You're welcome. These are good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you stole it from someone?
So, I mean, who leaves candy on their bookshelf?
Who leaves candy in their personal places?
If
Expects
it's not,
it to not be taken.
yeah, really.
Who leaves candy in that inner pocket inside their purse, inside the drawer of their own desk in their locked office, and not expect it to be taken?
Fact. No, but for real, it was on her open bookshelf, which after the fact, I was like, oh, she might have been leaving that there. Like she had pulled it out because she was going to eat it. And then she ran out of time.
And you're like, I'm going to leave it someplace where I can see it and eat it. It's the first thing I get back.
It was okay. She came back the next day and she was probably like, did I eat that? I guess I did.
What's wrong with you? You just see unattended candy. That's mine now. You're the worst kind of person.
It's a really bad day. And I know where. It's not like I just went into some random teacher's room that I happen to work with. Exactly.
She didn't tell me you could see through my shirt. She doesn't deserve this.
Fact. See, now I don't feel bad about it because she was one of the ones that didn't tell me.
You all owe me a candy.
Yep.
Legend says, honestly, as a teacher, I would totally do that to my friend coworker if I saw candy in the room. All right. Okay.
See?
Oh, Mo, that's the worst.
So, Meg isn't on my Facebook. So she.
Oh, you didn't, and you weren't here for the very beginning of the stream
here for the
either, so
very
you didn't hear the story.
beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, Mo went an entire school day in a shirt that you could see her undergarment through. So.
Yep. Sure did.
Still hilarious to me.
If you happen to be on Facebook, go send me a message and I'll send you the picture. Actually, we're on Discord. I can send you the picture.
You're already in a social media group together.
Listen. I don't use Discord like that, okay?
You only show up if you get tagged. I understand.
That's right. I know. Yes, Lark, you saw the picture because you're my Facebook friend. I actually know who you are in real life. In real kind of life.
Burn on you, Meg. Burn on you.
In real kind of... Listen.
Secretive, Meg.
Listen. The other day when Three was talking about how she had a really rough day at work, I was trying to figure out like ways to ask, what did that rough day entail? Exactly. So we can all write it down in our Figuring Out Who Three Is book.
The cows just wouldn't milk. She works on a farm. She's a farmer.
Exactly.
We're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
We're almost there. That explains why your internet's so bad.
I can tell you that what she has told you about her life is 100% accurate. Meg, come on.
I will send you a half-eaten cow tail.
I'll send you.
I can't say tail correctly. I keep saying tell. That's one of the words I say wrong. Kale?
That's what I was going to say. A kale towel. A kale towel.
I got on to Mo early on in our friendship because she doesn't pronounce the double O words correctly. And she never knew it until I pointed it out, and then it ruined her day for a while.
Well, it wasn't only that. I mean, we had gone months, and I was like, I say it correctly. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I heard myself say it in a church announcement on a Sunday morning from the sanctuary, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I really do say that weird.
It reminded me earlier, because earlier I think you said afternoon, but you said afternoon. And I'm like, yeah, it's still there.
It ain't going nowhere. I promise. Noon.
Noon. How do you say food? Food. I'm saying it right? Food. Food.
You've got to find that one and share it in Discord or something, because you trying to seeing me try to form the word properly.
Food
is hilarious.
Food.
Am I saying it right? Hold on.
Am I saying it right?
Food.
We will be having a youth Christmas party on Friday, December 16th from 7 to 9 p.m. There will be food, fun, fellowship, and a gift exchange. Food, thanks a lot, Matt! Thanks a lot!
It's all double O words.
Mom, why did you do this to me? Why can't I say double O's right?
Oh my gosh.
There will be fun, food. How do I say it? How am I supposed to? Somebody say it. Food. Say it again.
What?
Food.
Yes, not food.
Food. If you I heard it Sunday morning, and I was like, oh.
Yes, that was perfect.
Food.
Perfect.
Noon.
My wife says two words incorrectly that bug me.
Room.
She says dwar instead of drawer. And she says pull instead of pool.
So she puts the W in the wrong place for drawer.
Yeah.
Dwar.
Yeah.
Drawer.
Yeah.
There are people downstairs.
Yes, there are people downstairs. Like I said earlier, they're having a wedding at our church this weekend, so they're setting up for it down there.
Yeah.
They're building crap. I don't know. Y'all might have y'all might have heard and us not notice, like sawing and drilling and crap going on down there. They're building all these arches and stuff in our sanctuary. Wooden crap just flying. I'm saying crap a lot. Flying everywhere. I get to clean that up as the janitor. It's going to be a blessed day. I'm also the only sound booth operator, so I get to run that too.
Day. So here's the good news. They always go all out for their children's weddings, but it's the last daughter to get married, so they should be done now.
I feel like we missed something serious happening in the chat.
Uh-oh, did we?
I had a coworker basically berate me in the hallway during a passing period, and I had a parent question my qualification. Jeez. Sorry, man. That sucks.
Wow.
Sorry, I just kept seeing all these condolence messages for Lynch. I didn't know what was going on. That's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sorry about that.
Yep.
Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that at all. And that'll ruin anyone's week. You feel a little bad.
I mean, it's just something. Is it a full moon or something? What's going on?
This last week, people have been rude this week. I think we're getting to the point where everyone is sinking into that realization, crap, we're really doing all this COVID stuff again. And we thought we were out of it.
Again.
Like it's selling it of, nope, it's not going away. We're back at it. And so everyone's just wit's end and getting angry at the drop of a hat.
But what's funny is
I had a good cry this week too, Lynch, and good cry will do you good.
Good cry will do you good until you get a headache. And then it's like,
that's not a good cry. You cried too much at that point.
Why did I cry?
5 minutes max. Just get it out real quick.
No,
ugly
that's
cry.
way
Just snot and everything out. And then
that gives me a headache.
Breathe and be done.
No. See, I don't even remember the last time that I had a really good cry because I hold back my cry now because I know I'm going to have a headache.
Really?
And I just don't want to deal with a headache.
No, since we're getting real and emotional around here, I have dealt with depression most of my life. And for a while it was clinical and bad and suicidal thoughts, stuff like that, especially when I was younger. I don't deal with it all that much anymore, but occasionally, probably as little as once every 6 months now, I will just have a day or two, a small period of time where I would much rather be lying in a ditch somewhere. Just, I feel that bad.
Yeah.
And had that day this week. And I was really aware of it this week because I wasn't doing anything else but be aware of my emotions that day. There was nothing I could do to take my mind off of it. And middle of the night, while Daedra's asleep and I'm trying to get the baby to sleep, yeah, right then and there, had a good long cry just to get it all out. And it's awful. And then I woke up the next day, felt great. And have felt fine ever since. It's the weirdest thing.
It is. I go through the same thing a lot more frequently than once every 6 months.
I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to know that for you.
It sucks.
Because it's bad.
And I think the good thing for both of us is we are analyzers. We do typically go deep into, we never do anything kind of surface level. And so I think that's probably what has saved us a lot of times, is that we are able to go, you know what? I know what this is.
Right.
This is just a moment. It's going to pass. But right now, good grief. Life sucks. Life is hard.
I think another thing that's probably helping us is the fact that we've been in Celebrate Recovery for so long.
Yeah.
Because that has also taught us to be honest about those situations. Because for most of my marriage, if I was going through something like that, I'd do my best to hide it from my wife. Because I don't want to, put that, I wouldn't want to put that burden on her.
Yeah.
But I'm like, she wants that burden, That's one of the things that she's agreed to do by marrying me. She wants to share in my struggles in order to try and help me get out of them.
Yeah.
And she said as much to me. She said, if you're having a bad day, tell me you're having a bad day. And even though she knows that there's nothing that she could really do to fix it, she is at least aware. And so she can try and take some of the pressure off of me, or even just as much as, praying over me and saying, that really sucks. That's enough. That kind of stuff does help, because you do release some of that burden by sharing that kind of stuff. And that's one of the good things about the LTN community that I've seen, is that, especially in the Discord and the prayer, the I pray for you section, I'll pray about it section, a lot of us are willing to really share our vulnerabilities a bit. Even for the Twitter question that we had, the poll question that we had this week. That's supposed to be an anonymous Twitter poll, but those tweets automatically go to the Back Row Buds Discord. And we had a lot of you jump in and share some very vulnerably about things that you're struggling with, people that you're struggling forgiving, and things of that nature. I think it gives credence to the whole community aspect, and that Bible verse that I love, confess your sins to each other, pray for each other so that you may be healed. Like, that's what this is supposed to be. That's what church is supposed to be. That's what Christians are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Don't hide all this crap. It's okay to have this stuff exposed. It's supposed to be. You can't heal a wound by pretending it's not there, and you can't leave a wound covered in a bandage forever, or it's not going to heal.
Yeah.
You have to expose it to the light.
Yep.
Expose it to the air in order to find healing. So, there's your motivational moment. For the
motivational moment.
Since Mo hasn't done a moment in like 3 weeks.
It has been 1 week. It was 1 week. And do you know that I was counting the other day, and I've done enough moments to where I could have a 30-day devotional.
You've done 30 moments? I don't think that's right. That doesn't sound right. 30 moments? I'm going to have to go look that up. All right. Hey, I love you guys. Mo loves you guys.
Yeah, I love y'all.
She's deflated.
I don't
deflated.
Always love.
Jumbo over here.
Why?
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
For the record, I've never made a comment about...
Never. Not once.
Never.
Not one time.
Wow. We are frozen, I think.
Oh, no.
We're not moving. Yep. I mean, at least it's kind of a flattering...
I don't know why we're... there we
go.
We're still moving.
Hello.
Okay. I don't know if we froze
Somebody
for y'all.
Somebody downstairs just unplugged the wire. That's what
but we froze for us.
I guarantee you.
That was weird. But anyway, Thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight. This was a weird and fun night. Okay, it says frozen.
See, it was frozen. We come back.
Okay,
I
we're
promise.
back. You can hear us. Okay,
Okay,
we're moving
cool.
now on our side. Hopefully, we're not frozen still for you. But we had a blast. We hope y'all did too. Love y'all. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And we'll see most of you on Tuesday night.
See you Tuesday. Love y'all.
To choppy, everybody up in half.
Stabby.
I didn't get a good imposter round this last week. I was pretty upset about it.
Do you know, I hope, like every Tuesday, I always hope that I don't get an imposter.
Why?
I don't know.
You're good at it.
It stresses me out.
Love you guys.
Come on.